Yeah, but we're back again, man, with Noah in the house, and yeah, I mean, after that, that first one that we did, uh, Noah, you really spoke for the people, man.
Yeah, you did, man. Yeah.
Sorry, guys. It's gonna be late.
Okay. You just let us know when, because we thought you already did the clap.
Yes,
So,
sir.
but if you got,
I'm recording, but then I forgot the camera.
What, you forgot to hook up the camera? What's going on? How you forget to hook up the camera, bro?
you forgot
No,
to,
no, no, I fucked up a camera right before.
Doggy.
forgot to plug in the audio.
Hell no, with the audio. That's the thing right there.
You choose. You can have the audio or the video.
Right.
You can have both.
Yeah. Sorry.
Welcome to 604 Podcast.
we do things a little bit different here.
You guys choose.
You tell me what you want,
Okay.
but you can't have it all. Well, it's like Henry Ford, man. He was like, you can have any color that you want as long as it's black. Right?
So there's no color basically.
Well, like back in the early 1900s, that was Henry Ford.
Just only black colors?
Yeah.
But then he changed the colors.
Well, bro, but like at that time, they were just building like the Model T.
Hmm.
Like that was the first production vehicle made. And, you know, his sales guys are like, oh, we should offer a color. And he's like, look, dudes,
Just
people can
black.
have any color they want as long as it's black. Okay.
I like that.
I always tell
I
them,
like
yeah,
that.
bet on black. When you go to Vegas, bet on black, mother trucker. I'm just saying. Call it as it is.
Man, yeah, great to be back again with our friend Noah. So like I was
Yeah.
saying, is like you kind of, we didn't know how it would be,
No.
right?
No.
Until, how many times did you watch that, the first one here?
Oh, I watch that quite a bit of time.
Yeah?
because- Yeah, I was watching, just how we were interacting with each other and, how it was a smooth, just giving space, for letting everyone, say what they got to say. And yeah, it was beautiful. It was a good, good podcast for sure. Yeah.
Agree.
Yeah, you
Agree.
really add a different element to all the rest of the people who are looking at your handsome face and going,
Yeah.
I want to be like that guy. I want to be like Noah.
I was thinking it's probably people like I won't say my age, but like a younger generation
Yeah,
thinking
yeah.
like, hey,
Mhm.
I want to ask this,
Yeah.
but if the thing is like in Canada, you can't really speak directly to the person. You just don't want to disturb them or just don't want to say like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But I would ask the question like blunt,
Yeah.
and then
Well, questions are made to be asked. And if you don't ask questions, then you'll never get the answer. So don't shy away from asking questions, right? And if you don't get an answer from the person that you ask, go to the next person. Go to the next person until somebody's willing to.
But do you
How
think it's intrusive to ask too much question or no?
Well, questions are made to be asked.
Mhm.
So you can ask me as many questions as you want. I'm going to give it the answer. And if I don't know the answer, then I'll try to find the answer for you. Or we'll try to find it together. But
That's problem solving.
yeah, so we're gonna solve the problem because you're asking questions. And showing that you are asking questions tell me that,
You're interested.
yeah.
Mhm.
And then I could take my energy and then I can apply it to you because you're asking questions. Because a lot of times people, they go doing a job or whatever, they don't ask any questions.
Yeah.
Do you know? Yeah. But I say, yeah, don't live here.
True.
Yeah, doesn't live here. And then you're hitting a stump and they're going like, well, I didn't know. I said, well, why didn't you ask a question? Well, you're afraid. Well, he who don't ask ain't gonna get. And he who asks will get. So you have to ask question. It doesn't matter. So if that person's feeling like you're annoying them and bothering them, then go to the next person.
Yeah.
And maybe they're not the right person to really want to ask a question to if they're getting annoyed. But
It's like kids, they always asking 1,000 questions.
Yeah.
thousand
for sure.
question.
Yeah, so like that's the phrase, explain it to me like I'm 4.
Yeah.
And what does that mean is because a 4-year-old will ask, well, why?
Yeah.
And you'll say, oh, because of this. But why?
Yeah.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
because of that.
Yeah.
But why? Like, and so that's the thing is like sometimes you really need to bring it down to the base. And if you can't explain it to a 4-year-old, then you don't really know what you're talking
Right.
about.
Exactly. Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Is like if you have like a stock response, like you're reading from a script, that means that you don't know what you're talking
Right.
about.
Right.
Right.
True.
So
True.
So again, like we were saying, is like that first one that we did here with you on camera. You were speaking on behalf of the people watching what
Yep.
Elroy and I do.
Yeah.
And you asked the questions that they wanted to ask, like
Mhm.
and those were genuine questions that you were asking, which was really cool.
Mm-hmm. That's really good. I was glad that you're asking these questions. Just like when we do the shows, the universities, people want to ask questions, right?
Mhm.
And I think we should involve them in asking the questions, right? Because that's what it
Yeah.
is. It's not just us getting up there and talking.
Well, and I think like the first one when you were there, we didn't know that was going to happen. Like so like the first show that we did together, we didn't have a
Yeah.
microphone in the audience, and
That's
then
right.
then like,
Yeah.
but we didn't know what was going to happen, and so what ended up happening is these people are asking questions.
Yeah.
And like it really threw me off. I mean, like you seem to
What-
like because like you had performed before in front of
Yeah.
audiences and you
Yeah.
had people talking
Yeah.
shit to you or whatever. But for me, like all I knew was giving a lecture.
Yeah.
And when you're giving a lecture, nobody talks. And so when the audience was asking questions, I was like,
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, it didn't show though. Like you hide it really well. Though.
I was a good actor.
Well,
But internally I was like kind of like upset. Like I was
Yeah.
like, man, like we're trying to deliver some good stuff here, but like I think it's because man, people want to just go, hold on, slow down,
yeah.
Yeah.
what did you just say?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And go ahead.
And that's a good thing that they're slowing it down and want to ask those questions, right?
Mhm. Like for me, like it's like basic question.
Yeah.
Like maybe for you guys, it's gonna be pretty basic, like, but that's,
But-
it's common sense.
But again, we have to explain it. Like
Yeah.
if we're going over people's head, then
Mhm.
we've missed the mark.
Yeah, we missed the mark, so we need to roll it back.
Mhm.
And like I said, if we have to speak in the language of 4 years old so they can understand.
Mhm. Mhm.
And it's not that people are 4 years old. Sometimes it takes certain people different speed to catch what it is that you're trying to say. So you have to break it down in small little pieces. And if that's the case, the baby's not eating the solid food, then what do? We put it in the blender.
Mhm.
But you're gonna eat it, but now it's in a different format.
Right.
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 But it's still the nutrients that you're gonna
I
get
like
from
the
you
analogy,
like that,
man.
eh?
Yeah.
So again, like you said, problem solving. Okay, the baby don't want to eat the food. Okay, put it in the blender. Oh yeah, okay.
What
Now
do we
the
got?
baby's sucking back on it and getting those nutrients that they need, right? So it's the same thing in the conversation. So we got to break it down for people so that they
Yeah.
can understand it. And sometimes we think, like, oh yeah, they should know. No, they don't.
Mhm.
Yeah, but they should know. No, they don't.
Well,
Really don't.
I mean, like at the same time, like we're kind of assuming that people have read the book
Right.
first,
Right.
and so like the purpose of these particular podcasts is that we're going through the chapters one by one,
Right? Yeah, yeah.
and we're building out an online course
Mhm.
to complement the book, right?
Mhm.
And so yeah, like I mean, in a sense, like we're trying to say, hey, read the book first,
Yeah.
and then watch these videos, right? Because like the chapters are very short for good reason, so that like you can kind of go through the book quickly,
Yeah, yeah,
and take what you can from it in a reading.
yeah.
But then this is intended to expand upon each chapter, right? And so yeah, like I mean, we're not talking like that these people have no understanding. Of what
Yeah,
we're talking
absolutely
about,
not. Yeah,
right?
we're not saying that at all. And that's what it is I try to express to sometimes when you're communicating with someone, right? People think, oh, they should know. I said, no, but you got to break it down for them. You see them, but you think that they understand it, but they don't. Because if they did, then the result would be different. So obviously they don't know. So you have to change your mindset instead of thinking, oh, they do. No, now you have to break it down, scale yourself back to break it down into the pieces that they can understand. And everybody deserves to know and to understand how something works, right? Because as soon as you, like you said, if you read the book, then you'll have an understanding.
Yeah.
So if you
No,
haven't
well,
read
be,
the book,
be your base,
yeah,
understanding of
Yeah.
what this philosophy is.
right, exactly. But you got to read the book.
Mm.
They say you got to read the manual.
But why people don't read it? Like if you give a manual to success, why they don't read it?
To become lazy.
But I think like again like so reading is it's difficult, right? You know, it's like, so not only do you have to take the time out of your day to read something,
Yeah.
but then you have to try and interpret it as well,
Right.
right? It's like, so most people can read words, but then to interpret what it all means, right?
Yeah.
And so again, you know, it's like we have to talk about the different formats. And
Yeah.
so, you know, so we're just talking about like retention of information, right? And so retention of information, it's known that reading, all right, is the number one method of retaining information. So you can look at video, you can listen to audio,
Yeah.
you can go to a play, like you can have a conversation, but the tried, tested, and true proof has always been, if you read something, you're going to retain that information
Yeah.
longer than like a conversation, right? It's like we may have spoken like last week, and you
Right.
already forget what we
Yes.
spoke about.
Absolutely.
You know,
But if I read it, then
Yeah.
that will have a different impact.
Yeah.
like just like the retention percentage is higher
Mhm. Okay.
when you read something, and so like, I mean, that's just like, why do you think universities and school, like, I mean, we're still reading out of books,
Mhm.
right? You know, like, you're like, oh well, we have all this digital technology and everything, but you know, in order to work this stuff, you still have to
Read the manual.
Yeah.
Read you need to read.
Because like for me,
Yeah.
I feel like it could be different. For example, some people are more visual,
Yeah.
or
True.
some people like they like to, like if they hear something, they're gonna retain it better.
Right. True.
For me, it's always the feeling,
Right.
you know. So if that touch me, I'm not gonna forget it,
Right. Right. Exactly.
you know, for years and years. I'm
Totally.
probably never gonna forget it.
Yeah, I think there's an acronym for that, you know, in terms of like the different types of learning that,
Yeah,
that
true.
you know, each person is into. You know, but like I was saying, is like when you put it all on the table,
Mhm.
you know, like the one that always stands out is reading.
Reading.
Yeah, if you
Yep.
read something, you're gonna retain it
Right on.
higher than if you just heard it or just saw it, right?
Well, I even say also, if you write it down,
Yep.
then when you're writing it down, you're making that imprint
Totally.
in your mind as well too, right? So writing it down is also an important thing as well as reading, because you got to remember it, right?
And so that actually brings us right into this chapter, right? Is like, so chapter 5 is about, you know, embracing adversity, embracing obstacles,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And so like what we were just talking about is like, in order to solve a problem, sometimes you have to go and read something.
Mm-hmm.
You have
That's
to,
right.
you know what I mean? It's like you have to fill out a form on the internet, or you have to, you know, apply for a license, or you know what I mean? It's like you have to open up a new business. And that all requires, like, you have to read. And so like, man, like, all I gotta say is like, just take the time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, people, oh, I don't have time for that.
Yeah, you do have time. You just gotta, what's the word they use?
Prioritize your schedule, man.
your schedule.
Yeah, come on.
You know, you got enough time to be on your phone. You got enough time to watch TV. You got enough time to do this and to do that. So why can't you read? I think reading gives you the knowledge and the understanding, right? So that way you can tackle things, you can solve problems because you took the time to read. And that's what I find when people don't, then they struggle with that, right?
So it's like priority.
Yeah.
It sounds like, you know, talking to my friend, I tell them like, oh, I'm so busy. Busy doing what? No, because I have a few businesses.
Yeah.
It's like,
That's right.
same thing with me. I'm so
Yeah.
busy.
Yeah.
So I
We're
said,
all
like, what are
busy.
you doing right now? It's 8:30. He said,
Yeah.
like, I'm playing PS5.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
And then the guy doesn't have time. I would,
But
what do you mean you don't have time? You're
Yeah.
playing right now.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I was like, yeah, you know, but I need to relax.
No, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
You relax a little bit,
Yeah.
you work a little bit, you read a little bit, you eat a little bit. So it's all in segment you know.
But do you calendar, like, let's say, do you have a calendar saying like, okay, after 8, I'm going to relax, or this is family time? Do you, like, schedule?
Like you can't really like set things. And this is what I always say to everybody is I go like, you can't set things in stone,
Yeah.
because that then becomes rigid, and if it's rigid, it
Mhm.
breaks.
Mm-hmm.
So it has to be flexible.
Flexible to yeah.
Everything has to be flexible, right?
Mhm.
It's like, so if you say no, it's this hour to this hour to this, you know, and it's just like, okay, that's super rigid, all right, and it doesn't leave you opportunity for change. And we
Right.
already know that
Mhm.
everything is changing always.
It always change.
But this is also why I don't like policy. We was talking about policy
Yeah.
before.
Right.
So it's like, okay, now I can't. If I put some policy,
Yeah.
then I'm too rigid. But if I don't, then I'm flexible. So you know what I mean? Like, how can I find the balance between both?
I mean, I guess the policy is there as a guideline, right? Because it's always changing. Because the policy is always going to change, anyways, right? Yeah, we might make a policy for right now, but 2 days from now, hour from now, things can change, and now we have to change our policy again. So it's always
So you can
changing.
change the policy
It's always changing,
along the
huh?
way.
Oh, bro, like just listen to
Always.
what I said 2 minutes ago. Is like you can't ever set anything in stone.
Yes.
You
Okay.
can't. It's like, so you come up with something like I was telling you, like put a sign on your door: no shirt, no shoes, no service.
Right.
Right? Like that's a common sign.
Yeah.
But you might be like, oh well, you know, I don't mind if you come in with no shoes.
Yeah.
So then you're gonna change it tomorrow, and you'll be like, okay, just no shirt.
Yeah.
You know, mastery of your native language.
Yeah.
Mastery of your native language will open more doors than any key ever will. Mastery of your native language. So for you, it would be Francais,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
And so if you master your language, which means reading and writing and speaking, right?
Mhm.
If you are a master of your language, it will open every door without a key.
But why?
It's everything about our world. Okay, if you say the right thing to like somebody,
Mm-hmm.
they open a door. If you say the wrong thing, they close
Close
the door.
But my, for example, for me, and I think for like many students here in Canada, English is not our first language,
Right. Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
So if I master my own language in English, I will not be able to communicate properly. You know
Right.
what I mean?
Right. Well, and again, it's just like, so your native language also has to apply to where you're living, right?
Mhm.
Is like, so if the rules of the land that you're in are in English and
Yeah.
you've mastered French,
Yeah.
it's a mismatch, right?
Right.
So I'm making an assumption that your native language is the language that of which you're living,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah, yeah, okay,
so
okay.
that's
Yeah,
what, that's
okay,
what I'm
okay.
trying to
Okay.
explain.
I see
So-
what you're saying. Yeah.
so
Yeah.
your
Yeah.
case is a little bit different,
Yeah,
where,
yeah.
where you've come to a different country, different language. So that means that for you, living in Canada, you're going to have to master the English language,
Mhm. Like more vocabulary and
reading, writing, speaking
in English.
in English.
Yeah.
And the more
You
you
do,
work on
right.
that, bro, the doors just fly open for you.
But still keep a balance of your native language as well too. Don't lose that. You
Mhm.
know, don't lose that as well too. Because then if you do that, then you're losing yourself. You're losing who you are. You must always keep that. And I'll give you an example. When I first came from Jamaica and I went to school, I was excited about wanting to, fit in and, wanted to be that. And then one of my classmates asked me to speak my language and I froze. I was forgetting it because I wasn't mastering it.
Mm.
I was trying to be, with English, but then I forgot who I was. So I made a promise to myself that I won't do that again. I'll keep a balance of mastering my language, but also master to where I'm at and learn that as well too. So some people hear me and they say, "Oh, you don't sound Jamaican," but then I break it down and say, "Yeah, where I going with me there? It there. You just don't know. Say the hide back there." So I have it hidden back there. So when I need to open it up and bring it to the forefront, I can.
Mhm.
Right.
Everything I read.
Everything Irie. But yeah, it scared me because she asked me to speak my language and I didn't know. I was forgetting about it. Like, what? I can't do that. So I felt like I was losing myself. So
Part of you,
Yeah, your identity.
my identity. So
Yeah.
I needed to make sure that I keep that and so yeah, it made me go back to starting to stay true to who I was. So that way I don't lose myself.
But that takes a lot of effort, man.
Yeah,
It is like,
does.
so like they say
It
that
does.
like if you can kind of master more than one language, like your brain is like operating
Yeah.
on a higher level, right?
Yeah.
It's like, so the fact that you guys know different languages, I mean, it's pretty special, right?
Yeah. It's funny because, you have different people moving about, right? So, if you don't know the language or if you go somewhere, you don't want to try to even learn the language, then when something happens, nobody knows how to communicate with you.
Yeah, that's why it's really difficult for people to come to a different country, and like you see them like they're smart people,
Very.
but they don't know the language, and therefore all of the doors are closed. You know what I mean? It's like, so they're like, I'm a doctor from India or whatever, and like they just don't know English well enough. But like they're super brilliant, you know, speaking Punjabi, you know, like so it's just like, wow, man, like, and so that's all I gotta say is like, but that takes an awful lot of effort.
Right.
And you have to keep on putting effort towards learning, improving, increasing yourself. Because if we don't put effort in to go digging that hole to plant that seed into the ground, well, nothing is going to happen. No crop is going to grow. So you have to keep on moving, keep on doing all the time. It's a constant.
And so, like, right in this chapter, if it was easy, everybody would
be doing it.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the reason why a lot of people are not doing it. Because when it comes down and you break it to them and you show them, well, you have to do this and this and this. Oh, well.
But that takes effort.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So when you
That
asked
takes work.
earlier the question, I said because they're lazy in their effort. They don't want to put that effort forward to obtain what it is that they need to obtain.
Well, and we're not trying to be rude with the word lazy. I think
No, exactly.
Like it's interchangeable with like comfort. You know, like
well,
you just want to be comfortable. You know, and like we're not saying that you're lazy. We understand that you just want to watch TV. You want to play video games.
Thanks for clarifying that, because I don't want anybody feeling that, you know, because the word, because sometimes a word can, you know, make people go crazy.
Like we can use lazy because we're not. We know that. But at the same time, we understand that, you know, like human beings really enjoy being comfortable.
Yeah. I like being comfortable.
Right?
I like chilling too. I like, you know, not doing anything, and you know, I sit there and I feel like, oh man, I should be doing something.
Like 5 minutes.
But you have to give yourself some time as well.
But you can like as a entrepreneur, small entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Someone called me earlier. I was at the studio. I was recording. Then he called me like maybe 1 p.m. I was like, "Hey bro, I'm passing by. Would you like to smoke weed and chill?" I was like, "What do you mean?" He was like, "Yeah, you just want to chill?" I was like, "Bro, I can't chill.
I'm working.
I don't even have time for my wife. What are you talking about? What do you mean chill? Did you ever see me like chilling, like not doing anything?"
You're always moving.
He was like, "Oh no, it's a choice." I said, "No, bro, this is a luxury."
Yeah.
He was like, "Oh, so I'm super rich?" I was like, "I don't know. You decide, but I don't know. Like as in for now, I don't know, but I can't right now."
Yeah.
And I would love to do that.
Right.
You know?
Well, that's a good way to say it.
Yeah.
You know, that's a luxury that you can just chill.
Yeah.
You know?
Because when you do have time to be able to chill, there's times where I go, oh man, it feels so good to maybe have a couple of days to just actually having nothing pressing on me, nothing wants my attention. And I embrace that and go, oh, this feels so good. But I know that's not going to last too long.
Totally.
But at the time when I'm in having it, then I embrace it.
Well, but usually, like, you're taking that break because you have just been running a marathon.
Right, exactly.
Right. It's like, so that's the difference.
If it's deserved, it's okay.
Yeah,
right.
absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's different.
Right.
If you like, I feel like if I deserve it, I did like some good sales and I did like some good work and happy about myself. Sure. You know what? Okay.
You
chill,
deserve to chill and take it easy. Yeah. You know, we go, but remember to take some time to chill and go again, and then take some time to chill.
Yeah.
So it's you know, like I said, it just all depends on the individual. How much do you want it? How badly do you want it? You know?
Yeah.
They like I said before, in times I'm up rehearsing late at night. Well, people are sleeping, but that's what we have to do. And then we come and then we're in the studio, we're you know, recording and all that kind of stuff, which takes a lot of money to do that. But then you have somebody go, oh yeah, just give me a CD. Well,
like,
do you know how much effort has gone into just, first of all, coming up with the idea of the song. Then on top of that, now we have to get the band to buy into it and play the song. Now we have to kind of
then schedule all the band.
Then we have to take that. We got to go to the studio, we record it. Then we got to go to the painstaking thing of comping the music. So when I say comping, for those who don't understand, is that you go through all the different takes we've laid down. So we could do 5 different takes on a song, and then we go through it and then pick out what we want from it. Then after that, we have to design this CD cover. Then after that, we have to get it done. But then You want me to give you a CD. What are you going to do with the CD?
Well, like you just snapped your fingers and made
Yeah,
it.
like it's just, come on. I said, at least support me and buy it, because a lot of effort, a lot of time
Yeah.
has gone into
Totally.
producing this one song.
Mhm.
So I'm just saying, you're laying around and sleeping, which is fine. I got no problem with that. But I'm up at night while you're sleeping.
Well, it's all a sacrifice, right? It's
You
like,
have to make a
and just what you said is like, how bad do you want?
How bad do you want it?
Right.
So
And so a lot of people will say, "Oh, I want that yacht. I want that car. I want that house. I want vacations. You know, I want
Yeah.
pop bottles.
yeah,
I want swimming pool." And it's like that sounds great. That sounds really cool.
that sounds good. But like like we said again, and we'll go back to it again. It takes sacrifice.
Yes.
And then without sacrifice, then you can't achieve what you want. And we're not saying anybody is lazy and nobody's is that. It's a choice you make.
Yeah.
And what choice are you willing to want to do to sacrifice to obtain getting that car or getting that vacation?
And everything is a sacrifice.
Everything
We
is a
have
sacrifice.
to really like nail that one down.
Yeah.
Okay, is no matter what you're doing,
Doing, yep.
you're sacrificing.
Yes.
And so I'm just saying is that like there's no way to be perfect.
Yeah.
Like you can't please everybody.
Yeah.
There
And
is
you
no
won't.
way.
Yeah. It's impossible.
Right.
So who you're gonna remove people from your life then?
It has to be like I said. Like you can't build these structures that are so tight and rigid.
Yeah. There has to. The example I give for that too is that you have a storm and you have this tree, a solid tree, mature tree. He said, "What? The wind is coming, pushing, while the young buck tree is going, going with every movement of the wind." Where this solid guy whose plant is solid says, "I ain't moving. I ain't gonna learn." So what happens? The wind comes, snaps it because it's too stiff and too rigid,
Yeah.
falls to the ground.
Yeah.
We chop it up. We make firewood out of it.
That just happened in Seattle. So like,
Right?
dude, all those huge trees in
Right?
Seattle all fell
Fall
down
down.
because typically like the wind is blowing from the west.
Yeah,
Right. And so they're strong when the wind is blowing from the west.
yeah,
That's the standard. This wind was blowing from the east. That's not their strong side.
yeah.
Oh.
So guess what happened?
This
This-
tree go kaboom.
Right.
Okay.
So if you're flexible in life, in the things you're doing, you move with it.
And this young tree didn't break.
Didn't break.
Yeah.
Because it's moving
it's kinda
with
whippy.
every motion of where it takes it. It's not trying to go against it, it's moving with it. So it's better to move with things than move against it.
And everyone around you has to also believe in that system too, right?
Yeah.
So if you got somebody that's rigid around you, so they're gonna say, well, that doesn't work for me, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so like that's how it is like so, but they don't like you have to then explain your vision
Right. True.
maybe
There you go.
clearer
Right.
to say like, hey, this is what I'm trying to accomplish.
Right.
And some nights I'm gonna be up until 4:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
Right, like you were saying, and it's just like I'm just creating, I'm building this business, right? And sometimes it takes those hours that I have to put in.
That's right. In order to achieve
And I'm
it.
not trying to hurt this side.
Yes.
I'm not trying
Try
to
to
hurt
hurt-
anybody. I'm trying to make everybody happy.
Right.
But this is just what happened tonight. I had to
Mhm.
be there until 4:30 in the morning, right?
Yeah.
And so that's just part of it, man, is like everybody has to buy into that flexibility.
Yeah.
Once someone's rigid, it can really just impact the whole system, right?
So you have to. What you mean is like I should not be rigid.
Like, I mean, I'm just saying is like, if you're rigid and you say, no, I only work until midnight. Well, you couldn't have stayed up until 4:30 the other night. So that would have been rigid if you, midnight,
Right.
everybody out.
Right.
Yeah. Pack up and leave.
And then all of a sudden,
Yeah.
you just killed the whole vibe.
yeah.
Right.
But you didn't do that, and you stayed that additional 4.5 hours,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and I'm sure you captured some like amazing
things. Oh, yeah.
creativity,
Yeah.
right?
Absolutely.
Because you're flexible, right? But now, but it's the same if you did it every night until 4:30.
Mhm.
That's
Yeah.
also rigid,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
that has to be flexible to then compensate for your need to sleep and be
And
with your
spend time
family,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
So you
So-
see how everything is
So
just
you really have
flow.
to hear, like, really have to understand and hear you feeling, like, be in how do we call
Harmony.
it? Harmony with your
Harmony.
feeling,
Harmony with your feelings, harmony
Yeah.
with what you're dealing with, because you're taken away from this side of spending time with the family.
Or
So-
taking away from your sleep,
So for your sleep.
Yeah.
right?
So
Yeah.
again,
Something's sacrificing
yeah,
always.
so you got to
Or if you're spending all your time with your family,
Yeah.
your business sacrifices.
that's right. Yeah.
So
True.
no matter which
Where
way,
you go.
there's always a sacrifice.
sacrifice,
Yeah.
yeah, somewhere. It's
Right.
true.
So the
It's true.
person that you're with has to understand that there's a sacrifice and a flexibility. So you can't be at home with honey all the time, because honey's gonna go, yes, I love it. Oh, we're so lovey-dovey. Everything is so good, but the bills are not being paid.
Yeah.
But you want the love. But
Yeah.
honey, I'm gonna have to leave for a minute to go get that, so that you don't feel, oh well, we need to pay the bills. Well, I can't be at home with you, hugging you and holding you all day,
Mhm.
because
Well, actually, that's what Noah, you were saying earlier. You were like, man, if I could just like duplicate myself.
Yeah.
then it will
then-
be,
Yeah.
oh,
Well, then you can leave one part of you at home
Yeah.
with your wife,
yeah,
one part here.
Perfect.
you know?
Problem
perfect
solved.
world.
one part in France. You know, like
Perfect world.
But
But that's not how it works.
That's not-
So we have to just be watching that ourselves and paying attention. After a while, if you want to start with a calendar and do that, it's a great idea. But then after a while, it's like the training wheel on a bicycle. You take the training wheel on, and now you start using your mind.
Mhm.
Then you start strengthening your mind and your thinking. So you
Mhm.
don't have to look at the calendar to see when you need to spend time. It's going to become automatic, because now
Well,
you've been
well,
practicing
they
it.
say that like we're supposed to break our day up into 3 equal parts of 8, right?
Say it again.
We're supposed to
can you
break
explain
up
that?
our day into 3 equal parts of 8, which add up to 24.
Okay.
There's 24 hours, right?
So work.
So well, first of all, we start with rest and
Rest-
refreshment.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
is supposed to be 8 hours, right?
Okay.
It's like,
Yeah.
so your usual vocation, your work is 8 hours,
Yeah.
and so the other 8 is for your family and enjoyment, right?
Right.
So that's kind of how you're supposed to break it up, right? And so you got to be able to flex in between those,
Mhm.
right? It's like, think of an accordion. You guys are
Yeah.
musicians, right?
Yeah.
Think of the flex of an accordion, right? It's always moving back and forth, and it can expand, it can contract. That's how you have to
The-
look at your
Mhm. That's a good
8,
analogy.
and
I like
8,
that. Yeah, I like that.
right.
Yeah.
It's like sometimes, like the other night, again, the 4:30 in the morning, bro, your rest and refreshment just went to nothing,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's how.
But
you
what is
have
the
to-
other 8 hours then going?
So again, like, so it's like, so if you cut out your rest, that means that you were probably working,
Mm-hmm.
or you were servicing, others, like your family and
Yeah.
friends, or maybe you were just servicing yourself, enjoying, relaxing, like, I mean, that's all the flex in there, right?
Yeah.
So you have like 8 hours of like resting and sleeping, 8 hours of work, and 8 hours with family,
Family, friends, like, and betterment of yourself,
Yeah.
right?
But
That-
for me, like personally, there's no those 8 hours. It's probably like, I would say 45 to an hour maximum.
Mm-hmm.
Maximum
Of
that
what?
would be 1 hour of like spending time with family,
Okay.
wife.
So again, that's a sacrifice that you're
Yeah.
you're willing to make, because you're saying, "Hey, I'm building this business so that I can then expand that
Yeah.
later,"
Yeah.
Mhm.
and that's okay, man. Like however
Oh,
you want to
absolutely.
do it,
Yeah.
as long as you just remember
But-
that it's like those 3 equal parts, right?
You said the magic word. As long as you remember.
Yeah.
See, because you can't get too consumed with what you're doing, then you lose track. You gotta
Yeah.
remember. Okay, I'm going to this distance here, and then after that, then I'm moving on to the next relaxation or time with family.
And I think this is like what my wife, she's the most scared of. She's thinking like that's gonna be forever. But I keep saying like, hey, this is temporary. Like, don't worry.
Yeah,
Just,
yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
But did it ever happen to you when you build businesses,
But of course,
passing by those like you forget those 8 hours with the
Absolutely.
family, and then you
absolutely.
maybe put in like 16 hours of
I
work.
don't think like you forget about those hours. I think like you're definitely aware of those hours that you're not spending with your family, knowing that you're devoted to building
building
this,
something, yeah.
and you're like, well, why am I even building it?
Mhm.
It's for
For the
them,
family, yeah.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And so that's the thing is like, so that's why like you're not forgetting about them. Like now you've chosen to shift those hours over
To
here.
yeah, so you can build it.
But
yeah.
you go, well, why am I building it? Well, it's for them.
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah.
I mean, like, and we're just a vehicle for that. You know, I was like, so like we enjoy what we do collectively.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like musician, you know, studio, you know, business guy. You know, like
yeah.
so we all enjoy what we do, but we also realize that we're not doing it for us, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you can perceive it that like, oh well, this very thing that we're doing right now, we all enjoy it, okay, but we're building a business. We're
Mhm.
building this for our family.
And for the people to give them the knowledge that they need to help them to move further, right? So
That's why you're a vehicle.
you're a vehicle.
Mhm.
Yeah, you're a vehicle. And you know, sometimes that's the reason why sometimes you know, you're trying to build that business and sometimes it doesn't work out because again, if the person that you have don't really understand that, then there's going to be problems.
Mm-hmm.
Because like I said earlier, yes, I can be at home lovey-dovey and holding you and being there, but then the bills need to be paid and
Right.
it's not going to fall out of the sky. I have to do something in order to get that money to pay the bills so you can live in the lap of luxury.
And I
And,
think-
and so that's what we're trying to show here in this particular chapter is that like, so that's adversity.
Yeah.
Those are obstacles.
Mhm.
And so like, you have to embrace them.
Yeah, you have to embrace them for sure. Yeah.
Right. And like, what does that mean? You're like, wait a minute, what are you talking about? You know, it's like, I just told you like, there's a problem. Yeah, there is.
Mm-hmm.
And so you have to figure out how to solve it.
And it's solving it meaning that you have to
Adjust
shave
your-
off a couple of hours and adjust, then that's what you need to do so you can spend time with the family so that there's a balance, right? Because there's always going to be an imbalance because they want you to be at home and you want to be at home, but again,
Because
you need
here's the thing is like, so it's like goal setting, right? It's like,
Yeah.
so you have your goal of like what you want to do.
yeah,
Pick your business, whatever you're doing.
anything. Yeah.
It's like, so you have your goal of like, hey, I want to be, you know, like the world's best author, or I want to be the world's best musician. And it's like, okay, great, that's your goal.
Mhm.
And so now you have to realize that like it takes time to reach that goal,
Absolutely.
which is, and you
Yeah.
always say time is on your
Side.
right. So time's on your side, but also like, so listen to how this works, right? Is like, so you can push further, you can push yourself harder and cut out your sleep.
Yeah.
You can cut out your fun time and put all 24 hours into this being the best,
Do
right?
that. Okay.
So you can totally do that. Just isolate to that, right?
Okay.
So that's fine. The thing is like, it's still going to take time
Yeah.
to reach it.
Yeah.
Like, so even if you're doing it 24 hours, like for months at a time, you're still not going to reach
Yeah,
your goal
yeah.
for a while, right?
Yeah.
Here's the other side of it is that like, so if you're sitting on the couch watching TV, you're now pushing that goal out further,
Mhm.
right? It's like, so, but
Yeah. Because he wants to relax.
so it's like,
Yeah, so
no matter
what
what,
you
like
do-
it still has a timeline,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? And so if you're devoting everything you got into reaching it, you will probably break like you
Yeah.
did,
Yeah.
right? Is
Mhm.
like, so this is exactly what we talked about last time, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
You were saying, yeah, but I want to go faster,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And so that's all I'm saying is that like, no matter which way you do it, is like if you're putting 24 hours into work or you're putting 8 hours into work and trying to balance the other eight and eight, right?
Mhm.
You're still relatively reaching that goal at the
Yes.
same time.
Yeah.
Because like what happened to you is you just lost a year.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So you had made all this forward progress and then you
I lost and break a year.
Yeah.
Like I break like so many years
Yeah. Yeah.
of building.
Right.
So it's actually like even more than a year.
so that's all
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
saying here is that like so we're talking about this 8 and 8
Yeah.
and you're like, well, I can't do that. I'm like,
Mhm. Mhm.
See, you're gonna have to do it. It's not
Mhm.
that you can't do it. You can do it. It's a matter of just now starting to do it. It's different and foreign when you're used to just always go, 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 go.
Mhm.
To break away, your head is in the sand, but you gotta lift it up. But after a while, you'll embrace it and you'll realize how wonderful it is when you can break it up in pieces. You know, a lot more enjoyable. Then you have that balance.
And your energy level stays the same.
Stays the same. So we could go faster if you want and put all the time in to get to where we need to get to.
You make a mistake.
But
Yeah.
the faster you go, you're missing the other good stuff. Right? There's nothing wrong with going fast, but you got to be good at being able to pick up the things as you're moving fast.
Hmm. Do you have any, like, for example, like any anecdote or story that happened to you? In my case, you know, for example, oh, I'm just like working, and I'm not taking care of the family.
Mm.
Or I'm working, I'm not taking care of, not the business, because I'm basically always working, but maybe not taking care of myself enough again or so. Do you have any
Oh yeah, I mean, there's times
time
where
of your life when that happened to you?
for me,
This guy's
I'm-
working all the time.
I'm like
He's
you.
Jamaican, man.
I'm
Come
like
on.
you. I get involved in it and I forget sometimes to lift my head up, to take a minute to breathe because I feel like, oh my gosh, I got to get it all done. Well, no, I need to break it down in pieces. So working hard, it's always been my thing, and I always submerge myself in it. But I have good people around me that will say, hey, you need to take a break. As much as I don't want to, no, you got to take a break.
But who will do that? Your family,
My
your
family.
friends? Who?
Well,
Your family,
and-
your
and-
friends.
Yeah, and so like I just did this last week, for Thanksgiving. So it's Thanksgiving in the great land of America, right?
Yeah.
And so I've been running, pretty hard, like pushing myself, just focused, right?
Mhm.
And so I was like, all right, you know what? I'm gonna head back to Detroit for a
Yeah.
week and just like be with family.
That's your
Sti-
roots.
still kind of, yeah.
Mhm.
You
Touch
say
the
touch
root.
the root.
Yeah.
And so like, I was still like tuned into business, like I'm still, every morning I'm cracking open my laptop and working, right? But then also I'm just like getting to, talk with my mom,
Yeah,
see my
yeah,
brother,
yeah.
see my cousins, and like, it kind of just, it makes you like kind of like chill out for a minute and just go, well, wait a minute. Like if I'm always going,
Mm-hmm.
these people, they're passing by,
Yeah.
right? And so that's the balance, is that like we're only here for such a short period of time.
We only have so much time.
It's a short period of time, and so like you have to go, man, I know I really want to accomplish this great goal,
Mhm.
today, but sometimes you just got to push it out, man.
Mhm.
You have to say, it's gonna have to be tomorrow.
And that's where it becomes the balance where you have to remind yourself and tell yourself that it's okay that you're not doing something towards a business today, but you are doing something today, because by giving time to yourself will help you to rejuvenate so you can be better at doing what it is that you're going after in the first place. But if you don't do that to yourself, then what do you think is happening? You're going to crash and burn.
Mhm.
Just like that tree that's thin and so stiff. You're going to crash and burn, snap.
Well, and that's like something that I talk about with people trying to buy and sell stuff, right? Is like, so, you're a salesperson, so you're trying to make sales,
Yeah.
right? And so what I'll say to like, someone that's joined our team and it's like kind of like new in sales, I'll just say, hey, like, think of it this way, is that like, you don't necessarily have to make a sale today,
Yeah.
right? But just think of it as you're working on it today
Day.
and maybe tomorrow and maybe
Mhm.
the next day and maybe for the next few days
Mm-hmm.
for a future sale.
Mhm.
See, and that's the tricky part. They're like, well, I'm wasting my time today. I didn't make a sale. And I'm like, no.
No, see,
No,
there
no,
you
no,
go.
no.
Yeah.
But I can think this way too. For example, I'm supposed to make a sale. I didn't do it, but I'm thinking at the end of the day, babe, how much did you make? Zero.
Yeah.
But how much?
Because I say,
how much did you invest is actually the question. So instead of making money, you invested money,
Mm-hmm.
right? So just change that a little bit. Is like, you're like, oh, I made zero. It's like, no, you
Nope.
didn't. You
I
actually
invested-
invested your time.
Your
You
time and
invested
money.
your money
His money.
into future business.
That's right.
That's the hard part.
Yeah. That's a good. I
Because
like that.
you don't
Yeah.
see the result right away. And
No.
this is what is hurtful for me. Like, I don't see the result
Right.
right away. It will take like few weeks, few months,
That's right.
maybe a couple of years. It's like not instant gratification.
Vacation.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
It's like I don't see anything right now, and this is like, it's like the gym basically.
Right.
I can go for a gym for like 1 week and work hard for like 3 hours at the gym, let's say.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna see shit
Right.
for like a week.
So that's why people need to change their mindset into thinking that. Like Johnny Appleseed, planting.
Yeah. Where is
Right.
it? Where is it?
So he's not looking back to see if it's growing or not.
Mhm.
He's just planting.
Mhm.
And he keeps planting the amount that he needs to plant. By the time he takes a look behind him, then he'll see all those fruit trees maturing and growing.
Mhm.
But he didn't take time to turn around to look to see. It's just like with horses. The reason why they put the blinders on the horses, so they don't get distracted
Mhm.
by
Right.
the other horses. So you're
Mhm.
staying focused to look straight ahead.
Right.
You'll be able to look back when you finish the race.
Mhm.
You look back and go, wow, I actually ran that far or actually
Right.
climbed that high. But if you're focusing on what's behind you, no, forward. Look forward.
Sounds like you only, when you're going this mindset, is like you're just going, like you're just thinking forward.
Forward.
You're not looking about the past
I'm
or.
not looking back.
Okay.
I'm not looking back. I'm not worried about what somebody's saying. I'm looking forward and keep pushing forward.
Mhm.
Because the more I keep forward, by the time I turn around and then look back, I can see that there's a whole village.
Mhm.
You don't have time to change that because now you get defeated by you turn around looking, oh man, it's that as far as I got.
Yeah.
Well, that's the wrong mindset. No, keep going. Keep plugging away and then turn around and go, oh wow, there's a whole village there, buildings, everything. But
Like, I mean, that's just human nature. Is
yeah,
You know,
true. It's human nature to want to do that. You sabotage yourself though.
you want it now.
Yeah, you sabotage yourself because we want it now, but that's not how it works. It doesn't work where you have it now. And if you're getting it right now, then maybe you should take a look at it again because maybe something might be wrong with you getting it now.
That's true. Yeah.
Okay.
You're probably not ready for it.
You're
also.
not ready for it. You're not ready for the success. You know, like we talked about that, I think, last
Yeah.
podcast about
Yeah, we
people, musicians who want it now, but they didn't read the fine prints about what's in the contract, what is
Mhm.
this and that. But it's when now they're in there, now they're looking at it and go, oh, well, I should have, yeah, you should have read it first. You
Mhm.
should have looked into it first. But you wanted it so badly that you just ignored all of those signs to read it and to take a look. Now you're locked in. Now you're caught up.
Well,
in-
and again, just to tie it back to this chapter, right? Is like this is what we're talking about. Is like that's adversity, right?
Yeah.
Is like so when you're trying to make a sale in a day, right? Like you're like, oh, I want to make 10 sales today, and you make zero,
Mm.
right? So that's adversity. Now there's a lot of people that will quit after that. day,
Yes.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah.
right. And so people say that like businesses fail. Like I this drives me crazy. This drives me crazy when people will say like, oh, did you know that 50% of small businesses fail within their first 3 years or whatever? I go,
Mhm.
the fuck does fail mean?
Mhm.
What does fail mean? You know?
Experience.
No, man. It like I was saying is like it's just like the guy trying to make the sale.
Mhm.
He didn't make a sale today, so what's he do tomorrow? He quits.
Yeah,
Mhm.
because he thought he
so,
failed.
So what did he fail?
No,
he didn't fail.
No, he didn't fail.
He was investing. He invested that day.
Yeah.
And if he would have just looked at it as an investment into
Yeah.
tomorrow,
Yeah,
and tomorrow when he shows up, guess what? He made a sale.
yeah.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, still failed.
He didn't like
You never fail when you're investing your time into something to learn. I mean, Thomas Edison, they thought he
10,000
failed.
times, man.
How many times did he go make the light bulb till finally he got that one light bulb? Now look at it now. All the different light bulbs that we use today.
Mhm.
But did he fail? He said, no, I just knew 100 times. I did it 100 times. I know 100 times how not to do it.
Right.
So I didn't fail, but everybody's thinking he failed.
But maybe I'm thinking like I fail on my goal. Let's say tonight I'm
Yeah.
gonna make $1,000.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't. Maybe I lost money. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Because I invest on
You
something.
invested
You
it.
invested.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. But yeah, you know what? Like end of the day, I make zero.
Yeah.
I lost money. So did I fail? Compared to my goal,
Mhm.
Was your goal realistic? That's what you
That's
have
a
to
good
ask
question.
yourself.
That's a good question. Yep.
Was your goal realistic?
Yeah. Because see, everybody wants to eat the whole cow all in one sitting, but you got to eat one piece at a time, right?
Mhm.
One piece at a time to take away from that. You invested your time and effort in it, so you haven't failed in something that you're investing in,
Mm.
right? You fail when you don't try, and you aren't invested in anything in.
Well, like the thing is
Yeah.
like maybe
Amen.
and,
Right?
and maybe like so like that goal of 1,000, you know, is like that's what happens when you're a pro, and we already know how many hours you have to put in to become a pro is
Mhm.
10,000 hours.
Mhm.
It takes 10,000 hours to become a pro at anything, right? And so realistically, like for you to just come up with that magic number, I want to make $1,000 today.
Mhm.
It's like, where did that come from? Well, I don't know. I just sounds like a good number. It's like, well, maybe you need to check with other people that are doing that same thing and go, is that realistic? And they'll be like, I didn't make $1,000 a day until my 10th year doing
Yeah.
it.
Mhm.
And you'll be like, oh, I didn't fail. I just set my bar like way too high.
Mhm. Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so that's the thing is like, you have to put in that time.
Yeah.
I think it's also because I compare myself a lot to other. Like I would compare myself to Elon Musk.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, dude, like the guy is like have like 7 companies, SpaceX, Tesla,
Yeah.
you name it, PayPal.
Yeah.
So that's unfortunately like our way of judging, you know, our level of success,
Yeah.
and it's a wrong way. It's a wrong way to judge your level of success because nobody really knows what success is. Success is just the pursuit of a worthy ideal. The
Say it again.
pursuit of a worthy ideal, right, is the definition of success, right? It's like, so people think like success is comparative, right?
Mhm.
So you're comparing your level to someone else's
Other
level.
level,
So
but-
whoever's lower than you, you're higher than them. But then when you meet someone that's higher than you, you're like lower than them.
Oh, yeah.
And so that's how we've been programmed. That's why people watch these celebrities and they're trying to be like a celeb. It's like,
Yeah.
that is so unrealistic because a celebrity is like 1 out of 10 million or 1 out of 30 million people.
Mhm.
That's a crazy number, man. You have
Mhm.
better odds of getting struck by lightning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You might as well stand out there with a
An
metal
umbrella.
rod.
Yeah, okay.
Right?
I was gonna say with the umbrella, just the metal part.
Yeah, go for it, man. You're gonna get hit by lightning. I can guarantee you it. The fact that like you think that you're gonna become a celebrity, I'll tell you right now, you're not.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You're not.
Not right now.
It's just you think you're gonna be a pro athlete. You're not.
Mm, You ask any one of the pros, or any one of these successful people.
So who make those people then?
Well, like you already know, like when they're kids, that they're gonna be a whatever.
You feel like?
Like if you haven't made it by 5 years old or 10 years, you're not gonna make it, dude. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
it like because like it's so rare. Like I mean, you're a wonderful singer. You're a
Yeah.
wonderful musician, man. Like, you know, are you doing the tour with Taylor
No.
Swift right now? No,
No.
you're not, man.
No, she called me,
I saw
No.
Shabuzi.
and I said, "Well, listen,
What do you mean,
I
for
gotta
real?
I gotta do a podcast, Taylor.
What?
Oh, sorry, busy.
I know, I know.
I believe it.
I gotta do a podcast with Brad and Noah. So listen,
Sorry,
I'm gonna have to get back to you on that.
sorry, Swifty.
But you know what? I love you, girl, and you know, but I had to come and do this, and said,
Yeah, I
and she
appreciate
understood. She said, "Listen, I understand. Next time I'm in town again, I'll come back and
Tell her to come to Noah's
I said-
studio.
I said, "Yo, right on. You say hi to Kelsey for me."
But like let me ask you this, dude. Like, so you've
Sure.
been around a lot of musicians. You've been around a lot of musicians as
Mhm.
well. Have any of them gone to the top? Anybody on the Billboard top 20?
No.
Not that I know.
No.
No.
You don't know anybody, right? Exactly. That's all I'm saying. Is like, so I played hockey for NCAA Division I team, right? It's like,
Yeah.
so Ferris State University is where I went to school, and all those guys that were like recruited to play
Yeah.
hockey there,
Yeah.
I wasn't. I was a walk-on. All of these guys recruited from all over, you know, the world. Did any of them make the NHL? Zero.
Zero,
Really?
Zero. So they spent their entire childhood going to the rink, skating,
Mhm.
going to camps, went to high school, played hockey there.
Want a lot of money.
Dude, like
Is it worth it to do the work then? Is it
Sure.
worth it to work your whole life and thinking maybe you're not gonna make it?
like I was saying, is like, is your goal realistic?
Huh.
You really have to ask yourself that. Is your goal realistic?
That's a good question.
It's a very good question. And like, I don't think enough people ask themselves that.
we just want to jump in and think that we're just gonna be that pro, we're just gonna be that, but it takes a lot.
And then what happens is like you're disappointed,
Yeah.
and that's what leads to depression and whatever else can come from that. You know,
Mhm.
drugs, alcohol,
Yeah.
pills, whatever.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? It's like it's a very slippery slope. It's like so. It's just like now you have to set big goals for yourself, but they have to be realistic. All
Mhm.
right.
Mhm.
They have to be realistic. It's like, oh, I want to be the president of the United States of America. Like, okay, man,
That's
you can
good.
say that.
Yeah.
It ain't gonna happen.
But if you say that to someone who have dreams and like big dreams, let's say someone, I don't know, let's say your kid, and then your kid would say, "Oh, Daddy, I want to be president of United States."
Good for you, son.
It's
Wonderful.
great, but how can you say like, "Oh, you have to be realistic"? So you're gonna be a dream breaker. You know what I mean?
But the thing is like sometimes, especially in our current society where people model after people on Instagram or, celebrities.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Celebrity.
Like it's just so unrealistic. And so for a kid to come out and say, yeah, I want to be the president of the United States of America. It's like, well, where did you get that from?
Mhm.
Oh, I saw it on Instagram or whatever. I was like, okay, well, let's dial it back,
Mm-hmm. I know what you're saying about you don't want to be a dream
Breaker,
killer.
basically.
Yeah, you want to encourage them. Yeah, if you want to become the president of the United States, good for you. Okay, but take these tiny little steps in order to
Or
get
let's
there.
just talk probabilities.
Yeah.
Just go, okay, well, I'm going to explain the probability of you getting there. And the probability is 1 in 30 billion or something like that.
Right,
You
right.
know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah.
so if you think that you're that one, then here's what you have to do to
Right.
accomplish that goal. Right.
Right.
So
See-
it's like, I don't think you're killing the dream. Like you're just kind of saying like, here's the probability of it happening.
But is it like your limitation? It's maybe, like maybe this is your limitation who's talking. That's what I'm thinking.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Think
Mhm.
like maybe like your kids have a higher dreams or they don't have those limitations.
Right.
So I'm
Right.
thinking like, hey, is that your limitation talking? Like, hey, this is where as far as you can go. Maybe you can go there.
No, I mean, I think like you encourage your children and you say like you can do whatever you want to do. Like my
Absolutely.
parents told us that.
Yeah.
They said you guys can do whatever you want to do.
Mhm.
And that was a pretty broad statement,
Mm-hmm.
and so you had the same thing.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. You can be anything you want. But again, like you said, keeping it okay, realistically, right? So you have big dreams. Yes, that's great. I will never kill anybody for having a big dreams.
Totally.
But take the tiny little steps to get there. As long as you do that, you will get there. But you have to do those steps. You have to be willing to continue the fight and the things that come
And
against
grow and learn.
and grow and learn, because there are things that are going to come to try to knock you out, to tell you can't do it. But keep on fighting, keep on going, and eventually
Mhm.
you'll get to a level to where you says, okay, I am there, or you know what, I'm okay that I'm not there, because you might have seen some things along the way that might have changed your mind.
Yeah.
For one to chase that dream,
Yeah.
and go further. And it's a lot of things that's in the road, I think, that make people not want to continue on. And their dream, yeah, they want to see it, but there's a lot of things in the middle that doesn't sit with them right. That they said, you know what, it's not worth it. I'm going to change course and do something else, right?
Mhm.
But it's the things that's involved that's going to determine whether you're going to keep on fighting to want to become that president, right? What are you willing to give up? What are you willing to sacrifice, right? So never kill a person's dream. I always let them, have that big dream. But again, that big dream, but then you have these other little ones down here. So you're not stretching too far,
Mhm.
right? That you knock your own self out, right?
Right.
So you have to set those tiny little steps of goals in order to get to the big goal, right? So that's what it is, I think. If people break it down in small little pieces, like I said, you can't eat the cow
Yeah,
all at one
totally.
time. You got to eat one piece at a time, and eventually you will be successful. Eat that whole entire cow.
And like
But
what
how-
happens along the way,
Yeah. Well,
here's what happens along the way is like you're like, yeah, I wanted to be you know, whatever I want to be a rock star,
Yeah.
right? Okay.
Let's use that rock
And,
song.
and so at some point, like you adjust your goal. You know what I mean? It's like that's just how it is. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like I think at some point you're like, yeah, man, I'm gonna be a touring musician. You did, you know. Then you're like,
Yeah.
no, I meant like a big touring musician. It's like, well, you know, maybe that's not realistic, you know. And but what you did was you achieved part of that
Yeah.
goal,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You toured the country,
Yeah.
right? And so now is it like the magnitude that you had hoped for? No, you
Mhm.
know. But like you're like, well, I did it. But at the same time, I have to be realistic
Mm-hmm.
and understand the odds of me being, you know, like selling out arenas, you know, like that's
It's a lot of work, and for me, it was when I was on tour. It was missing home. I was thinking about home,
there we go.
and then it's like, okay, I'm doing this for everybody, and you know, everybody's gonna love me, and yeah, they're gonna love the music and stuff. But
You
then
did it for you, or you did it for other people?
I did it for other people. I did it for me,
Okay.
in a sense. I love what I did, but then now other people are benefiting from it. But then I can't get too caught up in that, because then at the end of the day, if something happens, then they're not gonna love me no more. But the family is gonna love me when I'm not there, and like Ed Sheeran's song, that one where when my hands don't play the guitar like I used to before,
Yeah.
I know that you'll still love me the same,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
Which is a great song, because it just ties into, when I'm not that anymore, are you still gonna love me? Are you gonna still appreciate me? But I did it for all these people. Or also Bublé, Michael Bublé, who sing the song "I Want to Go Home."
Mhm.
Is another song. You know, he's done so many shows, but he just wants to go home.
Well, I mean,
Right.
I think even like you know, Taylor Swift, right?
Yeah.
Like she's like the biggest thing right now, and she's touring like everywhere. Dude, she's fucking lonely, man. You
Mhm.
know, it's like you're on the road all the time.
All the
That's
time.
what happens. It's like, so again, what are we talking about? We're talking about a sacrifice to
Yeah.
achieve a goal, right?
Yeah.
And at some point, like again, you can't be rigid. You know,
Yeah.
you like Taylor can't say, you know what, I'm gonna be on tour for the rest of my life. It's like, that's like, dude, you're gonna kill yourself, man. That's crazy.
At some point,
You
But
need
you
to-
think is it the thing is like, is it worth it?
it depends on what you want out of it, right? Is like, so I don't know what she wants out of it.
Mm.
You know what I mean? It's
Depend
like,
on your goal that you set.
yeah.
yeah, I don't know. Like, and maybe at this point in time, she's just simply serving,
Yeah.
right? Is like that the goal
She's
kind
serving.
of what happens is like you're like thinking that this is your goal,
Mhm.
but then you start to realize, oh, I'm serving, and it's just like, and I'm not serving myself, I'm serving others.
Yeah.
And so I think like maybe what's happened for her, you know, possibly, is she's like, well, I'm already the richest lady on the planet, so money's not a thing. You know, she's pretty. I think maybe she's pretty grounded. I don't know.
Mhm.
So she's like, you know, I know who I am, and so now this is my opportunity to really make people happy.
Mhm.
And there's so many children that
Mhm.
are at her shows,
Yeah,
and she's
yeah.
raised them up and made them feel good. And so maybe that makes her feel good, and she doesn't really care about her Billboard
Or
charts
nothing like
and
that.
stuff
No,
like that.
it's about the people. She cares about the people.
So what you
Yeah.
were thinking, like when you were on tour and thinking about like your family?
Yeah, I just want to be at home, and that's was a reality for me, to say you're away all the time. We're sleeping on the bus. We're sleeping in these hotel rooms that, you know, it's not so glamorous as what people
Yeah.
think. Yeah, you're on the road. Yeah, people love you, but the behind the scenes
Yeah.
of what you have to go through.
Would
Yeah.
you do it again?
Well, I'll do it again if they can fly me there.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, but I mean,
Different
I-
level, man.
I loved what I did. I'm glad that we toured across, you know, the country, and I've experienced it and saw different parts of the country that I never would have seen, you know, not doing this. I've gained a lot of knowledge from the tour, and
Were you like 5 people? Is that correct?
there were 6 of us. Right?
6 people.
So there's 6 of us, right? So it was exciting, but again, like I said, I was missing home, and then it made me realize that you hear these people say they're lonely because they're in a hotel. They can't really. For me, I can walk to the mall and I'm okay, and I'm still singing and still enjoying myself.
Mhm.
But Justin Bieber can't do that.
Yeah.
And I know Taylor Girl. I know we talked earlier, but I know you can't just walk on the street on your own
Totally.
with the paparazzis in your face, and and they're chasing you down and just in your in your business and all that kind of stuff. I can walk to the mall and nobody bothers me, and I like that.
Mhm.
I like that freedom to be able to do that. But I chased after it and I went after it. But
Right.
along the way, I saw things and it made me decide, okay, you know what? I'm okay where I'm at. I can still make music and still making music.
Yeah.
What would you do different then? Is something you would do different? Like with your experience right now,
Yeah.
is there anything you would do differently?
No, I wouldn't do anything different.
Hmm.
I would do it the same. Yeah, I'd do it the
Well,
same.
because then that's what we talk about is like so you're given like all of these different roads, all these different paths in
Yeah,
life.
yeah,
And isn't it crazy that no matter path you choose, it's the right path,
yeah,
right? And you're like, wait a minute, like, but I had all these different choices. It's like, yeah, they're all the right path,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
And so that's why he's like, well, why would I change anything? You know?
yeah.
Mm.
Because it got me to where I am right now.
Right. And I
So-
enjoyed the experience.
So we don't know if he changed a different path, he wouldn't be here.
Right.
Mhm.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
And so like that's what you have to understand is that like, there's no do-overs,
Mhm.
but
Yeah.
but at the same time you have to like jump in and go, this is my life.
Yeah.
I'm not just going to let it pass me by. Right? Is like so don't look at the history. Okay? Don't
Mhm.
look at
Yeah.
the past 20 years
Yeah.
or 30 years and go, "Ooh, I fucked up there and I fucked up there." No, forget it. Cut it. Just forward.
That's what you
Remember,
were saying
exactly.
earlier. Yeah, yeah.
Because you're spending time looking back and feeling bad.
Yeah.
No, you got to go forward. You cannot change what was in the past, but you can change what's in the future. The
Well,
past
you
is-
can change right now.
you could change right now. That I cannot change back there.
Yeah.
It's already sealed and moved on because now I'm moving forward. So you don't look at it with regret. You don't look at it and say, "Look, what did I learn from this? How did it make me better as a person?" It made me better as a person because now became in touch with myself, which I wasn't before. It's a good thing when you can be in touch with yourself. So you don't live with regrets and stuff. You just say, hey, look, it's in the past and let the past be in the past. If you keep looking at the past all the time, then you'll never move forward to the future.
Mhm.
You can't stop it. You have to allow the past to be the past. You could change what was in the past into the future. What are you going to do different in the future? Now that you've learned that lesson. Have you learned a lesson? Of course you have. Every single thing we do, we learn something from it.
It's an opportunity.
It's an opportunity. So you have to sit yourself, okay, what can I do different now to make it better, right? Because a lot of people, they kill themselves with a lot of regrets and a lot of...
Well,
that.
and like they think like that's who they are.
Yeah.
It's like their past is who they are.
Yeah,
Right? And it's just
exactly.
like, no, man, like that is not who you are today.
It's just a part of what attached to you at the moment in time.
So
and
so
you-
just forget about it. So like you might as well just change
Isn't
your
that
name.
the definition of you?
It's not who you are, man.
Yeah.
It's like that all happened, but you know what? Change your name today. Change your location. Change everything, and go. I'm starting over right now.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, but what will people think? Who cares?
It doesn't matter what they think
Who cares?
because they got their own dealings that they're dealing
They're
with.
so busy. Like they don't. In
Yeah.
reality, they just don't give a fuck about you.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah, but you're too busy worrying about them.
True.
See?
But yet
true,
they
true.
don't care about you.
Yeah,
True.
But you're worried about them. What
Yeah.
they think about you.
Yeah.
yeah,
That's crazy.
yeah.
And,
'Cause-
like,
Like I
that's
feel
all-
like
That's all I'm saying is like just jump in, man. Like forget about dipping your toe in the
Mhm.
fucking pool.
just
Jump in.
Jump in and
Jump
go,
in.
ooh, the water is cold,
Yeah.
yes, but I'm alive,
Right.
right? Oh, water's cold. Ooh. I do that when I go into, oh, no, that's
Yeah.
cold. Oh, no.
Yeah.
Just jump in. Just jump in.
Yeah.
So regrets kill a lot of people
Mhm, mhm.
because you're too busy giving too much energy to it.
Yeah.
What is in the past stays in the past. You got to look forward to the future, man.
Totally.
You cannot, that'll drag you down. That'll make you not accomplish, oh, I won't give up. That's not who I am.
Mhm.
That's a part of what happens in life. We all go through it. Every single human being goes through it. Okay?
Mhm.
You may not know their story because you're not sitting with them and hearing their story, but they go through it. We all do. So
Mhm.
you just let it just keep on going, man. It's like when someone passes away, you got to let them go. You know, they think, okay, you want to hold on to them. You have to let them go, set them free, set yourself free, because they wouldn't want you to be sitting around feeling that way. Because sometimes it cripples people and they never get out of it. And I understand. I understand for the people who that's really solid for them. And it's hard for them to kind of let it go. I know they have a lot of love for their loved ones and the people that was in their life.
But it doesn't mean that you don't love them.
Right.
But how long it takes you like to stand up?
Yeah. Well,
Like for me, like I'm not ready for this shit, honestly. Like I have the
most people are not.
I have my mom, I have my
Yeah.
father.
Most people are not.
So I'm thinking like, okay,
Yeah.
when are they gonna pass away?
Yeah.
I'm trying to prepare like
You can
like
never
a-
be prepared.
yeah,
You'll never be prepared for it. It's going to happen
yeah.
when you least expect it.
Yeah.
And by coming to terms with it, then it's a lot easier.
It's adversity, man.
Yeah.
And you have to embrace it.
You have to embrace it.
You have to embrace these obstacles, just like the chapter says, man.
Mm-hmm.
You have to embrace it and just go, it's part of life. Death is part of life.
You cannot
know?
stop it.
But the thing is like, no one ever mentioned like how long, for how long. I don't know if I have to be like my knees down for like a year, 2
Yeah.
years, 3 years, a bad breakup, whatever, right?
Yeah.
But you're thinking like, for how long I have to stay in the like, oh, that, I'm not feeling well.
When the time is right.
Not for too long though, because you can get too used to that
Mhm.
because it feels comfortable. It feels good.
Or you can get comfortable.
You can get
into-
comfortable in it.
But what I'm trying to say
Yeah.
is like the time is right in that, like, so, if you're down on something and you don't have energy to do something,
Mm-hmm.
at some point, the time will be right where you say, you know what,
Okay.
I need to move.
Yeah. Yeah.
But is that a feeling? Is that a like, you know what I mean? Like, how do you know?
There'll be signs.
You
There'll
will
be
know.
signs. You know what I mean? Like, and again, like we were saying, like we're slow learners,
Mm-hmm.
and so maybe the signs will pass you by, and you missed that sign, and you missed that sign, and someone said something to you, and
But
like
you
you
never-
dismissed it,
Right. Yeah.
or you
Mhm.
saw something and you dismissed it. You know what I mean? It's like, so maybe it will take 20 of those signs before you
We
go,
oh.
I need to get off my
Now I
ass.
get it.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't know what time, what hour. You just don't know.
but
You're
like,
not ready.
I'm just saying, it's like, if
Yeah.
you think about anything that you do,
Yeah.
right? Anything in your day, like what makes you do anything, Like, and again, we got into this last
Yeah.
discussion,
Yeah. We did. Yeah.
but it's very, very fitting for this, It's just like, well, what makes you want to break forward through adversity? What makes you want to turn around? Like what is that? It's like, so is that self-doubt that makes you want to quit? Like maybe you don't believe in yourself?
Mm-hmm.
What makes you want to power through it? Is
Mhm.
that confidence, right? And so again, like part of this book, right, it is really working on your confidence. I mean, like that's a underlying tone, right? It is confidence.
But I have a question. So I think it's in the chapter 5 too, if I'm not going too fast. So you was talking about like, when people quit but you have to keep going, right? So you have to keep going, don't quit. But I'm thinking like, when is it like,
Oh, right. Like when is it kind of like you're doing something and there's no point in doing it or something?
yeah, exactly. So it's just like, I keep doing it. It's not working.
Right.
When is the moment to say like, hey, this is maybe fucking insanity. This shit is not working.
Right.
So when is the moment to quit or to keep going? Because maybe you just right after
Yeah.
when I
And-
Right at that
and,
point.
and I think
Yeah.
like that was a story actually in Think and Grow Rich, where like the
Yeah.
guy bought the mining equipment
Mm-hmm.
and he was digging for gold, and he was just kept drilling and nothing, right? And some other guy buys his equipment that he
Yeah.
had sold. He gave up on it,
yeah.
and the guy called up a geologist and said, hey, can you tell me like where these fractures are? Where would there be gold? And he's like, oh yeah, the gold should be about 2 feet that way
Mm-hmm.
from where the guy was digging.
Mm-hmm.
Sure as shit, there's gold, right? And so it's just like, you know, you also sometimes need to engage the help of a professional or someone that's actually doing it. And so what I say is like, no matter what you want to do, whether it's music or doing a studio or getting in the scrap business, you go and get with someone that's doing that. All right. And like, they're gonna, if they're confident in what they're doing, they're gonna want to explain to you exactly what you gotta do.
Yeah.
Right. And so you had those models with, I'm sure, musicians that helped you kind of, you know, like we already know about the one that said you weren't a good musician that powered you through, but I'm sure there was other people that were like, hey, bro, here's what you got to do.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I mean, I learned from those things that tells me, you know, I can't do it.
Can you say like a couple stories about that?
About the guy who told me.
Yeah, like you can do it.
Yeah, I mean, it was just this. You know, we were performing and yeah, we were just starting out, and again, his comment was, you know, get rid of your backup singers.
Say it again.
Get rid of your backup singers.
Okay.
You know?
Delroy was one of the backup
I was one of the
singers.
backup singers.
So they asking you to.
Well, no, after we did the contest, it was a contest. So after that, it was like, oh, well, you know, because they judge you and they, oh, yeah, well, you know, you didn't win, but yeah, get rid of your backup singers. But again, at the time, we were just forming this group. We were just.
You hadn't even really rehearsed that much.
I mean, we were just. I mean, it's fresh and new. We're out there. We're doing what we need to do. But like I said, I could have taken his comment as a negative, which I did for a second, that it hurt my feeling.
Of course.
Of course, you're human. It's going to hurt your feeling.
Yeah.
But then I realized that, okay, well, maybe he's telling me something. Right? Instead of looking at it as...
make you want to give up.
Yeah. He made me want to continue pursuing it and work at it and get better and better and better at it. And that's what I did. I don't remember the guy's name. Don't remember what his face looks like. But I'm glad that he told me that. I'm glad it made me better to now when I look at to what I've accomplished when he said that to me back then. I've toured across Canada. I've had music videos. I've done so many different things because I never gave up on the fact that because he told me that.
Well, and that was like, I mean, that actually does fit directly into this chapter because like that was like, you know, he was objecting as you know, like he's like, oh no, you're not very good, and so it's overcoming adversity and objections.
Right.
You know?
And I'm glad that they did that because sometimes people will be sent in your pathway to tell you something, and you got to look at the lessons that they're teaching you. For him, like I said, if I had looked at it in a negative way, I wouldn't have reached some of the goals that I have reached. But instead, I took it and made it into my firewood as what it'll fuel me to want to go work harder.
Oh, the firewood, that's what you said last time.
That's what I said last time, right?
But do you think he did that to actually help you? Like, as an example, like to give you a personal story?
No, he was not.
No, it was not.
No.
Because, for example, like my father would say, like, you fucking sucks, like, dude, like, forget it.
Yeah.
But in reality, it's just to push me.
Yes.
You just don't have really the word to say it.
That's right. Well, my mom said the same thing. My mom used to laugh and joke, you know. But I know she loved me, and I know that she meant well. But she was my biggest fan as well too, because she was always there when we were doing it. And you know, it's like anything anybody's starting off with. You're not going to be very good at it at first, and you're going to have people saying things and ridiculing, but that's okay. But it depends on how you internalize that. You can internalize that it crushes you and you never get back up and you never do it again, or you can internalize and say, you know what, I'm just going to prove this wrong, and that's what I did. And I'm thankful to that.
It's
guy.
good motivation, for sure. But at the same time, kind of like what I'm trying to say is like, so that's one side of it. You know, that's good fuel. That's good motivation.
Yeah.
But another side is like, you know, if you want to do something, you should try and find someone that's already doing it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then kind of understand what they did to get where they are, and then you kind of go, oh wow, like, and so maybe that's where, you know, the kid that said he wants to be the president, maybe you set up a meeting with a former president and him, and that former president will say, oh, really? You want to be president? Here's what you have to do. and all of a sudden the goal will shift,
Mm.
right? The goal will shift and
It's like,
kind of go,
maybe I don't want to go through all those sacrifice. Maybe.
Yeah.
right.
Right. Exactly.
I want to do all of those work.
Right.
Like there will be people that actually want to kill you,
Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah.
right?
Literally. Yeah.
Yeah, JFK.
Yeah.
Right? So that's all I'm saying is that like, so it's like you get with those people, and so like as an example for me in my business, right, is like, so friend of ours that you know is Faisal,
Mhm.
right? So I met Faisal like 20 years ago. Cool dude, you know, like, you know, always wearing fancy watches
Mhm.
and, you know, stuff like that. And I was like, hey man, like, what do you do, you know?
Mhm.
And so he explained to me what he does. And so I was like, well, when I grow up, I want to be like
I
him.
want to be
you
like.
know?
Mhm.
And so that's what I did. I just said, you know, okay, well, I sat down with him. I said, hey, this is what I want. I want to do what you do. He's
Mhm.
like, okay, here's what you got to do. Watching how he breaks up his days, those eights, you know, the
Yeah.
three
yeah,
eights,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You watch him, man. I'll tell you, you know,
You just don't want to do it.
it's the D word that we
Yeah.
talk about is discipline, right?
Discipline,
And
yeah.
he's an extremely disciplined person, and
Mhm.
so that's what it is, you know. It's like if you want to accomplish anything, like I'm not saying that like you can't become the president of the United States if you want to, but it's gonna take so much discipline, man.
Mhm.
Like unbelievable amount of discipline,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And so that's where, like, you know, I wouldn't set my goals there. I'm gonna go, well, you know, I want to find out what somebody else is doing that I like, model after that.
Mhm.
And then guess what? I met somebody else that is at a much higher level than that. And I go,
Mhm.
oh, well, I feel like I kind of did what Faisal's doing. Now I want to do what Howard's doing.
Right.
Right. So Howard's been a role model for me.
So it's the different person.
Yeah. So, you know, Howard's, you know, probably more of a billionaire than a millionaire.
Right.
Right. And
Right.
so it's just like when you kind of like look at like the differences in like the philosophies that they buy into and like how they build businesses, you know, it's like it's a little different philosophy.
But
right?
they still have 24 hours.
You're right.
Yeah.
Correct.
So, but what about the 888 then?
It's the
What's
same
Howard is doing
same
differently?
discipline. It's the same discipline. It's like so whether
You
it's
still have the 888?
so that's the thing is like, so again, just remember the flexibility within those eights,
Yeah.
right? Is like, so you're not always going to get 8 hours of sleep.
Yeah.
You're not only going to work for 8 hours, and you're not only going to have 8 hours for family and relaxation.
Mhm.
You know, it's like, and service too.
Yeah.
You can't forget about service, right? It's like, so work is one thing, but serving others is another thing, right? It's like,
Yeah.
so that's like, just make sure that
Mhm.
we know that there's
Mhm.
service,
Serving.
and helping your neighbors
Yeah.
out,
Yeah.
you know, helping out your brothers, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
And so you're right. Yes, everyone has the same 24 hours.
Yeah.
It's what you really think about in those 24 hours. Thinking is such a big part of it. You know, if you're caught up in like gossip and mindless shit,
Yeah.
that's what your results are going to show.
Mm.
If you're caught up in focused, efficient time, like that's the thing is like when you then try to hit those eights in balance, you have to become super efficient.
Mhm.
There's no messing around. There's no chatting on the phone with your girlfriend, or it's like,
You got to get down to business.
Mhm.
you know,
Mhm.
you're like, cause I got to get home for dinner, you know,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And so that's the thing, man, is like then you become laser focused, and like what happens is you enter like, have you ever heard of the state of flow?
No? What is that?
The
Say it
state
again?
of flow. You guys know flow state, right?
Okay.
It's
I
like
heard of
so.
flow state, yeah.
So flow state is when everything disappears around you. You're like whatever you're
Did you talk
focused
about
on.
it on the book or no?
You know, flow state might come up in there to a certain degree, but like like the flow is really like, you know, you're so focused on something
Yeah.
that time disappears,
Ah, okay.
right?
We
Right.
call it in French. We call it Saturn. This is what's happening when I record someone.
Yeah. Right.
I have no idea what time is it.
Yeah.
No idea. I just checked my phone. 17 missed call.
Yeah.
Time disappear
Yes.
because
Yes.
you're in the flow.
So that's flow state.
Yeah.
Okay.
Flow state's a great feeling. And what happens is like you're so laser focused on the task at hand that you're doing it to perfection,
Yep.
right? And therefore you're you're super efficient, right? There's no distraction. You missed 17 phone calls because you were so focused on it,
That's right.
right? And you know what? You can call those 17 people back tomorrow
Right.
because you had to finish this.
You had to do what you had to do. You had to zone in. And yeah, those things, playing video games, you know, like I said, talking to the girlfriend, has to wait for a minute.
Mhm.
Only temporary. You're just taking it and shifting it for a minute, so you can have the time to do whatever you need to
The
do.
sacrifice, bro. The
Everything is a
sacrifice.
sacrifice. Just smiling is a sacrifice. You got to make your face smile.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah,
You
how
make
many
your face
muscles
grow.
do you have to move? I think like they said like you have to move more muscles or something like, that.
Yeah, I think it's like 38 muscle to
Yeah.
smile.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why you see some people they're not smiling and this and that. People
Mhm.
said it's okay. That's what they choose. It's what they choose. But
Mhm.
I'm happy all the time. And it's like, oh, how do you do that? Well, I just wake up and I'm a happy guy.
No.
Mhm,
I
mhm.
No.
put effort to it. I put effort to, wake up to be happy. You know.
Before, like, I just have a quick question. Maybe
Yeah.
we don't put it on camera.
Okay,
What do you-
We'll take it off then.
What are you? It's still rolling. This one will probably gonna stop anyway in like
Yeah.
30 seconds.
It's a really good picture of you though, man.
Oh, this one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like all three. It's
Yeah.
too bad that I killed this one. Like literally like 30 minutes before you come.
it's all
I
right,
just
yeah.
like sit. I was like, ah, fuck.
That's okay. That's okay.
I just like break the
I think it
cable.
looks great, man.
Anyway.
So
So
what was
what's
your
the,
question?
yeah.
So what are you like? What are you not doing now that Howard is doing to go to the next level? Do you know Howard or no?
Which one?
Howard, sorry,
Howard.
the person that was.
Oh yeah, my friend who's kind of become a mentor, who's more
Yeah, I don't know him.
higher than millions, but
Yeah.
into the billion.
Do you know
um,
him or no?
No, I don't know.
Okay.
No,
Not yet, but I'm gonna meet him. Just like I met Taylor Swift. We talked.
right, yeah.
Howard is next on the list.
Swift-
Bring
Swiftie.
Taylor first.
Yeah.
Right.
Take Howard. Bring Taylor.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
But yeah, I'm sorry. What I was saying is, what are you not doing that he's doing, to go to the next level?
Yeah, I mean, like it takes resources to get to that next level, right? It's like it's hiring the right people,
Yeah.
right? It's like so he actually sent me a book called From Good to Great. From Good to Great.
Okay.
I don't remember the author,
Yeah.
but From Good to Great. And again, like it's about the same size as this book,
Mm. Good read.
Yeah, it was a really good read. And like essentially what it's saying is like, so you have your goal, right? Okay. So now it's like, how are you going to accomplish that goal? And typically what it takes is resources. And so resources, not only financial resources, but also human resources, right?
Mhm.
And so you need
What
to
do you mean by that?
people,
Like people. People
Oh,
are
okay.
resource.
human resources.
Like it could be employees or
Yeah.
employees. There you go.
Yeah.
people around you.
That's right.
Totally.
Okay.
Right. And so from good to great, kind of like the underlying theme within that book, our book is about, a bakery. Their book is about a bus.
Right. Okay.
Right. And so think of yourself as, you're the driver of your bus. Okay. And you have however many seats are on your bus. We don't know. Maybe there's 10, maybe there's 20,
Okay.
maybe there's 40, 50, who knows how many seats are on that bus, right? So now you need to figure out who is going to come onto that bus and
Yeah.
where they're going to sit.
Mm-hmm.
Where
Who-
are they going to sit?
Who is going to come onto your bus
So you
and
choose your-
where are they going to sit? Meaning what is like a seat represents their role
Right. Right.
in your life to get to your goal, right? And so that's what I learned from Howard is like, so he has, he's been in business much longer than me. It's a family
Yeah.
business for generations. And so much further ahead than I am, but I can still model after that, right?
Right,
It's like,
right.
so maybe I got a short bus compared to his long bus,
Right.
but there's nothing wrong with that, right?
No.
And so we just had a new employee join us today, right?
Nice. Congratulations.
Thank you. And so that's the thing is like, why? Is because we're growing.
Yeah.
And so now you have to find those right people just to get on the bus first, and then you have to figure out where they're going to sit. What is
Right.
their role?
What is your role?
And I'll tell you is like, you'll be surprised is that like sometimes you think that you're hiring someone to do this, and then when they're on that
Yeah.
bus,
Yeah.
Doing something different.
like they're like,
Mhm.
you know, I kind of want to sit in that seat, and you're like, well, but I hired you to sit in this seat, and they're like, well, I kind of like that, and you're like, oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
When they switch to that seat, all of a sudden it propels your bus faster, right? So finding the right people is the first step.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, determining where they sit.
So whose goal is that? And is that the goal of the person that you hire, or is that your goal to put them in a certain seat?
It's a bit of both, right? Is like, say as an example with Craig. So you know, when I initially hired him, I said, okay, well, I need someone to help with, you know, administration,
Mhm. Yeah.
you know, and he was totally cool with that. That's something that he was familiar with. And then kind of as the years went by, I was like, man, like, I think you would be great at sales, you know, because he's that type of guy where, you know, he's kind of athletic dude, you know, kind of like likes to drink,
Mhm.
smoke, can kind of blend with anybody, right? And I was like, bro, like, you're a really kind of easy person to
Yeah.
talk to.
Socialize.
He has lots of friends, you know, like, so I'm just like, why don't you try sales, man? And he's like, no, right?
I know somebody. Hey, why don't you try a podcast? Oh no, I can't do it.
Right,
Yeah,
same
yeah.
thing as Noah, right?
No.
So watch this, right? It's like, so he was so against it. There's no way I can do sales, and I
Uncomfortability.
yeah, he was very uncomfortable even saying sales.
Right.
That like, you know, gives him creepy crawlies.
Right.
I go, bro, then let's just change the word. Let's
Yeah.
not call it sales.
Yeah.
You know, let's call it like just talking to
Service or
people.
something.
Yeah.
Just talking to people.
Okay.
Can you talk to people?
Yeah.
And let's call it that.
Yeah.
Let's not call it sales, right? So like I'm saying is like watch, it's a bit of both, right? It's like, so as the leader, you have to realize you have to be a talent scout. You have
That's
to like
true too, yeah.
you have
Mhm.
to look at your
Yep.
roster
Yep.
and kind of go,
Yep.
okay, like, you know, it's like building a football team. Like, you'd be a great running back,
Mhm.
you know, like maybe you're gonna be a kicker,
Yeah.
you know, like maybe I'll be a tight end, you know, like
yeah.
I'm not gonna be on the line, you're not gonna be on the line, you know what I mean? It's like, so you kind of gotta like, you know, move the positions, but you know what? Actually, you know what? You could be a receiver too, you know?
Mhm.
So like, so you have to like be able to adjust, right? But so here's how it played out, right? It's like, so a year later, you know, having spent time with my brother who does sales coaching and kind of
Yeah.
helped him on sales, sure as shit now, he's like, I fucking love it.
Yeah.
And he doesn't want to go back to admin.
Really.
He's like, I don't want to do admin. I'm like, but yet he still knows how to do admin, so
Right.
he can bounce back and forth.
Right.
But he now prefers to do
The sale.
sales.
Right.
He would rather do sales.
Right.
And so that's all I'm saying is like, that's, you know, you asked me the question about Howard. Well, what is it that I'm doing that I'm not doing what he's
He's
doing?
Mhm, mhm.
And so I'm just saying is like, you know, I'm trying to build my roster. He has a full crew,
already,
right? Of people in this position and that position and that
You're
position and outside, you know, lawyers, accountants, you know, like
Mhm.
all that stuff. Hey man, like,
It's like a chess, like a. You
Y-
remember me
y-
like
yeah.
a chess game.
Yeah, it's right. Yeah.
Everyone have already his
Everybody
place.
has a purpose. Everyone has.
Hey, you want to do
Yeah.
this? Don't worry.
Yeah.
That's getting covered.
Yeah.
right.
You know?
Exactly. And so that's how you have to look at it is like, so like use those role models. So like, did I build my business exactly the same as Faisal? I did.
Mhm.
I did. Now I'm trying to build my business just like Howard.
Right. So.
So you can like next, and maybe after Howard, someone different or.
Man,
Okay.
I hope that there's no level above Howard.
I'm sure
'cause,
there
like,
is.
that's gonna
I'm
be
sure there is.
that's a lot of work.
I'm sure there is.
But bro, like I have an. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. Again, to tie into the fact that you say where you got the high goal over here. See, he had a high goal too, but he worked with Faisal. And now that he's mastered that, now he looks at Howard now and go to the next level. So he's gonna get to there, but he did these little things first in order to get to
Well,
there.
I actually didn't know about this.
Right.
I didn't know about Howard. I didn't know about that level because it's usually like what you're, like the people that are closest to you, that kind of makes up who you are.
Yeah.
It's like, so if the people that are closest to you are millionaires, that's great, and so that's what you'll maybe end up as. But
When you
like
meet-
few people have like a B in their network,
Right.
and so when that does come into your network, you're like, whoa,
That's
like
it.
this is a different language.
Yeah.
And that's all I'm saying is like, so that's why I really encourage people to step out of your network, find a different network, and find different people that are doing different things, so it can open up your mind to possibilities, right?
So I have a question about that. How God gave you Howard? Like why he's on your path? You know what I mean? Like why he introduced you? Because he was ready? Because you need to find you have to change something?
I think it's.
You know?
I think it really is part of your mission, right? Is like, so it's not necessarily, and you don't necessarily choose your mission.
Right. It's chosen for you.
You don't necessarily choose. And
Oh.
Noah, I know that you have an issue with that. It's like you're like, but wait a minute, like, I want to do this, and like I want to know, what's going on. It's just like, well, you don't necessarily like get to choose your mission. Like it kind of just. It happens,
For the things that you're doing over here. So as you do the good things or whatever you're doing, that's what you're going to attract, is what it is that you're putting out.
So it's like this. Watch. It's like, so, my concept was like, okay, I want to like educate children about recycling, right? And so that's where we wrote these kids books, and like we now have a cartoon. And I was like, okay, that's cool. Like I'll just have a regular corporation.
Yeah.
That's all I knew. Like ever since I was a kid, my dad always had a corporation, and he's just like, oh, collect receipts, you expense this, I kind of learned all that stuff as a kid, right? So that's all I knew. So you're asking me like, why did Howard come into my life? Howard said to me, he's like, well, if you're educating children, that should be a nonprofit.
What do you mean? I cannot understand.
So it's called a nonprofit organization. So it's like, so a regular business is for profit.
Yeah.
Right.
So what?
In that, like, the owner of that company can put all the money in their pants if they want and go buy yachts and all that sort of stuff. A nonprofit is actually community owned. So I don't own it, right? It's owned by the community, and the money that comes into it has to then go out to achieve your mission, right?
So what's in, it's out.
Yeah.
So let's say you get like
So
like 1,000. 1,000 is out.
It has to go
As
out
long as he
to
covered
achieving your
the-
mission of recycling education, right?
Okay.
And so I didn't know what the heck he was talking about. He's like, oh, you should have a nonprofit.
Okay.
Cool. And I just left it. I was like, I don't know. I don't know what that means. Then we had another person come up to us and say, hey, you're in education. It should be a nonprofit. And I go,
But how can you make profit though?
bro, it's like,
It's,
it's serving a greater purpose,
Yeah.
right?
Mm.
It's like, so like, that's the thing, is like, you got to look at it from that point of view. Is like, so this company that we're forming, is to serve the community. It's like, well, what is your goal, right?
Mhm.
It's like, so I already have for-profit business,
Mhm.
so that's fine. I'm already making profit in that
Yeah,
business.
yeah.
But then you open up a new business, right? And it's called a nonprofit or a 501c3.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, whoever donates money to that business, they get a tax receipt,
Right. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So they're getting a tax receipt for the money that they're donating,
Yeah.
right? And then you're getting the funding to achieve
To
your
your
goal of education, right? So that's, I think that was the purpose, It was like, so if I didn't meet Howard, I wouldn't have known about this. And now that I know about this, and he said it, and a few other people said it,
You've heard it.
now we're doing it.
Right. See, because more than one person said it. You asked earlier, how do you know? Well, he heard it one time.
But you
So
see,
the
like
concept-
I'm so here that I can't even understand
Yeah.
why you're gonna build a business without profit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No,
It's
I
so way
understand.
above
Yeah.
me. Like
Yeah.
even now, like after like trying to understand.
What I'm saying is
Okay.
so it's part of your mission, right? Is like so like it's almost like breaking up like the 24 hours, 8, and 8, right?
Mhm.
It's like so we spent enough time on that,
Yeah.
But then like when you start to like think about like your like the business world, right? Is like so yeah, like if you make money over here and you make money over there, you're covered. So why can't you do something that's just good,
And give back to what you've been getting from
right?
the profit businesses that you've been dealing with. So you're gonna now give back.
But this is like for an established business. Can you do it while you're building business or no?
Like
know
again, it's like a different type of entity, right? It's like so like what you're gonna want to do is like you got to focus on building your business,
Mhm.
okay? And it seems to me like your business is booming, which is wonderful to see,
Mhm.
right? At some point,
Yes.
you're going to shift from profitability, right,
Mm-hmm.
into serving,
Yeah.
right, into value. And like
Right.
that's the whole point
Yeah.
of like this book, is to kind of try and balance that. And so what I'm trying to explain to you is like, let's say that like you have one corporation over here
Mhm.
that is for profit.
Mhm.
So how can we balance that? Is have another corporation over
Yeah.
here that is non-profit.
Mm. Wow, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so maybe what you could do is like you could educate people on how to run a podcast, right? And so you could like raise money, right, as donations that will then fund teaching kids how to run a
do
podcast.
Yeah.
right?
But I feel like it's also another business to, connect with other people, to start to donate.
But wouldn't it be cool if the like you could have kids come and learn how to do this for free?
Yeah.
That'd be
right.
beautiful.
That's right.
Yeah.
You know
So
what I
you're
mean?
giving back now to
Yeah.
who gave to you when you were first starting off.
Mhm.
When you're first starting off, you didn't know how to do no podcast. But now look at you now, right?
It's a smart way of growing,
Yeah. Well, look how far you have grown from us being in contact with each other. Before you weren't doing podcasts, but now you bring
Yeah.
a different element to the artists.
Yeah.
That you can do podcasts with them that add to them. But before you weren't doing that.
Hmm.
But again, it's the people that you're around. But now that you're
Yeah.
around, Brad and I, or Brad and myself, however you want to say it.
However you want to
I
slice it.
But you've grown. You've learned so much, and now you can take that
Yeah.
knowledge. Now you go to the next level. So, like Brad said, after you focus on building your business, then that will come into play later on.
Well, and like it
Right.
kind of dips
Mhm.
into like the three levels too.
Yeah.
Is like so physical is the lowest level, right?
Mhm.
Intellectual is the next level, and
Mhm.
spiritual is the top level, right? Think of it that way, right? It's like so physical, you're just trying to find food and water,
Right.
right? Intellectual is what we're talking about here, is like you're learning how to run a business,
Yeah.
which you're learning,
Mhm.
like you're doing it,
Mhm.
and you're still learning, right?
That's right.
And then eventually like you tap into, hey, I want to be more devoted to spirituality,
Mhm.
which really is just like the betterment of society, the betterment of the world, right? And so like that's all I'm saying to you is like you're very focused on like, well, what about the business? I want to run the business. It's
Mhm.
like, okay, that's cool, man.
Yeah.
But there's gonna be a point when you kind of realize like that's not like the only thing that I'm here to do.
Mhm.
But that comes in time.
That
Mhm.
it
You
Dude.
gotta walk. You gotta walk it first. So right now you're building. That's gonna come later on in your pathway to what Brad is saying, right?
But you feel also that the spirituality is the third level, is the highest level,
yes, certainly.
because the third level I don't even I don't even experience it. I don't even touch it. Like I
Yeah.
touch it with my parents a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't know. I'm really not like spiritual, so I'm thinking like, oh, is it something that I missed, or is there something like I don't want to see, because it's just like it's way too higher for me. Like I can't even understand it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Well, I mean, it's because you've moved away from it. and doing other things. You said you were touching a little bit with your parents.
But
and
I
stuff.
think like you kind of got you're just caught up in physical reality, which most people are,
Yeah.
and most people just think like that is life, is physical reality, and it's just like that's okay, you know.
Yeah.
You can think that, and that's cool.
Yep.
And like we're not here to argue. We're not here to tell you what's what.
Yeah, or tell anybody what.
You know, so if you want to live on the physical plane and you think that like that's all there is to like this little ball floating around in the middle of nothingness,
Mhm.
Yeah.
right? So if you want to think like it's just physical, that's fine. But I want you to just kind of maybe consider like what are the possibilities of this little ball floating in the middle of
Mhm.
space that's
Yeah.
infinite,
Yep.
and why aren't, you know, things crashing into us, and
Mhm.
Yeah.
why do we have daylight, and you
Mhm.
know, why can't we even do this right now? Like, you know what I mean? It's like so like I understand that you're like, I'm not spiritual. I'm like, well,
You're
How
It's
is
just,
all of this
it's just like
possible?
I'm a little bit scared of it. I'm thinking
right,
like
of course.
it's something like I don't even understand that world.
Yeah.
So if you bring me the spiritual way,
Yeah.
I'm thinking like, dude, they're gonna be like so lost. I'm already lost with all of that.
But
Yeah,
but what we're
something,
saying is it just takes time.
It takes time,
Mhm.
and that's what it is. Like it'll happen when it's time for it to happen. You know that saying, "You don't know what you don't know,"
Mm.
right?
Mm.
So you cannot worry about when and how. You will know as you travel along the pathway, as you're going on the journey. It'll start revealing itself. We're tapping to it, talking to you,
Mhm.
and you're getting a little bit of it right now. It's gonna get better and better and better and
Mhm.
better.
Mhm.
You're gonna start seeing. all
yeah,
these
I wouldn't be
magical-
afraid of it.
No, it's not to be afraid.
Okay.
Just like time, it's not your enemy; it's your friend. If you know how to use it,
hmm
then it'll work for you. But if you don't know how to use it, then you'll waste it away.
Yeah, you'll waste your time.
Right?
Yeah. So
But
that
first, like you were saying, getting that's a physical, but getting the understanding, intellectual part
Mhm.
of it. Now that's where now you're tapping into that now. So everything has a level. So right now you're here. You're gonna move to the next one. You're gonna move to the next one.
yeah, like so out of confusion comes understanding.
Yeah.
Out of confusion becomes understanding. Like that's just part of everything, right? Is like so as a baby, you know, like you don't understand anything, like you're
Mhm.
confused. And so, but as you grow throughout the years, you start learning so many different things,
Mhm.
right?
I mean, listen, I still have so much to learn still. You know, I could say, yeah, I know everything. I don't, because I keep telling myself I leave it open because I don't know a lot of things.
hmm
I don't know about this and I don't know about that, but I know what I know about. But there's so many different things that we don't know. That's why we always grow and we never shut our mind off to go, I don't want to know that. I don't need to know that.
hmm
But what
Yeah,
also
yeah.
is helpful is like the journey of the soul, right?
Yeah.
Is like so when you kind of can get into that level, you know, again, which is a little bit higher level sort of stuff, is like, you know, so Delroy's like, yeah, I know what I know, but also like his soul knows stuff that maybe he didn't read or
Mhm.
write or anything like
That's right.
that,
Mm-hmm.
and he knows this, and he's like, I don't know how I know it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's
Right.
like, so that's part of your soul, and that's a different conversation, you know, like
Yeah.
but you like the idea is that everything just takes time, right?
Everything.
And
takes
and I
time.
think that like we keep coming
Come
back to
that
that.
because I want people to understand it takes time for things to grow. Look, if you cut yourself, right, as an example,
Mhm.
is it going to heal right away?
No, it takes time.
It takes time
Mhm.
for the new skin to come over and for
Mhm.
it to protect itself. And then all of a sudden, by the time you look a couple of months, the scar is gone. It's like if it never really happened because it takes time
Mhm.
for things to happen. But when you want to try to rush it, that's when we're
Not gonna heal properly.
Yes.
So yeah, like I mean, like
Learning.
that's really what it is, you know.
Yeah.
It is like the time is helpful,
Yeah.
and at the same time is like you have to like look at like what sort of things can we do to overcome these, you know, obstacles that are in our way, right?
Right.
How can we push through? And so we know that time is on our side, so you can start reading and learning about other ways to do it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you can also reach out to professionals that maybe can help you with whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden, like, you're like, okay, solve that problem.
Right. And then now you have that knowledge that you won't forget it now. now it's burnt in your mind. Oh, I know
Mhm.
how to fix that now. Oh, I know how to plug that in to get the sound that I wanted. Before
Mhm.
you didn't know any of this stuff. You had no clue when you started off doing this stuff.
Yeah.
You had to learn, and it took time for you to learn to where you are today,
Mhm.
right now.
Mhm.
It took you time to learn all this stuff. Oh, what does
Absolutely.
that wire does? What did you plug that headphone in? You
Yeah.
didn't know any of that stuff.
Yeah.
It took time. You put time and effort in to learn, and that's why you are now.
And guess what you can do now is you can teach people how to do it.
That's right.
See that what I'm saying is like you're like, well,
Yeah.
like, you know, why did Howard come into my life? Why did I come into your life? Why did you come?
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like,
Like for me, like I feel like it's more like you're a part of my life for me to evaluate,
Yeah,
if that makes sense, like
Yeah.
to grow,
yeah,
you know.
Yeah.
Because same thing, like when I have
Yeah.
an artist, the artist is sitting, is like, oh, which button should I press? Oh, right there. And I
Yeah.
think that's the best part for me. I'm
Yeah.
thinking like, you know, when I start to teach,
yeah.
oh, how come like my voice, like I have too much high
yeah,
mid?
Yeah.
Okay, it's because, you know, so I start to
Teach exactly.
yeah, so I'm thinking like, oh, you
Right.
know, that's the best part. I'm
Yes.
thinking, oh shit,
Yeah.
I know that. I don't
Yeah.
even know I know it.
Yeah,
But like for me, it's common sense.
yeah.
But like, okay, someone that don't know,
That don't know.
Yeah.
Remember, I said earlier, we think they know, but it really they don't know.
hmm
So we have to break it down in small little pieces for the baby to eat the food because you're
Mm.
trying to stuff it with solid food and it's because it's choking.
blended.
You gotta blend it so it become a smoothie, and the child will get the nutrients from what it is you're trying to feed it. But you have to feed it in a different method.
Mhm.
So you have to change, like Brad said, change how you look at it to solve that problem.
Mhm.
You solve the problem. I say, hey, I got a blender, put it in the blender. So they come and you think, oh, they should know because we get so good at what we do
Mhm.
that sometimes we forget that these guys are not at the level where we're at. So we have to dummy ourselves down to remind ourselves that we only got good at what we're doing is because we spent the time in, but they haven't spent the time in, but we're
Yeah.
assuming that they did. And
True.
that's where we're wrong for assuming, making that assumption
Mm.
and not breaking it down into the baby food and put it in the blender so they can have it,
Mhm.
you know? Because you didn't know nothing about anything, but you learned by putting your time in and your effort in, and now look at what you can do now.
and it just keeps making you
And keep
stronger.
stronger and stronger
Mm.
and
Yeah.
better and
Mm.
better. And you can add more layers to you and many different things that you're doing. It's more than going to be the podcast. Oh, yeah, you know, you didn't want to be in the podcast, but now you're getting
Yeah.
out of your,
Yeah.
see?
And like whenever it's so true. Whenever I teach someone,
Yeah,
like they will ask me like a few questions.
yeah,
I told them like usually, let me note this.
yeah.
I'll get back to you.
Right.
So maybe like I did like you know, like I teach someone for like 30 or 45 minutes.
Yeah.
The week after when I see them again, I become way better.
Yes.
It takes me to 1 week.
That's right.
But maybe in a normal time, that will take me like 3 months
Mm-hmm.
because I was looking for it. Oh yeah, he's right. What is that question again?
Mhm.
Let me check.
Mm-hmm.
Let me call like other
Well,
guys.
there you go.
they say like the best way to learn is to teach.
Oh,
Best way to learn is to teach. The best way to learn is to read. The best way to learn is to write it down.
Mm.
They all come together,
Mm.
right? Because we're teaching it, it's coming out of your top of your head. You're not looking in the book to figure out in the manual, how do I plug that in? See, now you're a master of your domain. Now you don't have to look at the manual.
Mhm.
But do you still know everything? No, you don't, because things are changing and you're going to still keep on learning and keep on reading. 'Cause
Absolutely.
different things are coming that's going to make the software different. And
Mhm.
you now have to educate yourself on the software, how it works. It's a
Mhm.
lot of work when you look at this. It'll be overwhelming for someone coming in that has no idea how it is, like how you entered. But look at you now. You're more confident in what you're doing. So
Yeah.
now you can teach someone. And do
Yeah.
that. This is exactly what we're doing with the book here,
Mhm.
is trying to teach people
Yeah.
and get out of the comfort zone and do something that's uncomfortable.
True.
That's where all the magic.
The best. Say that again. The best way to teach is to learn.
And the best way to learn is to teach.
To teach the opposite.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it sounds kind of weird because you're like, well, wait a minute. Like, I need to learn, so someone needs to teach me. But, like, you're saying for me to learn, I need to teach. And it's
Right.
like, well,
Mm.
that's what happens eventually, right? Is like, so like, you have to take in the information first.
Right.
Mhm.
So
have
you're a
to learn
student first. And so you take what you can from it and you kind of, you know, you become pretty good at something. But then when you have to go and teach someone, you're like, oh shit, I was skipping that step and I was
Yeah.
skipping
Yeah.
that step.
Yeah.
And then you become way more detailed and you're like, oh, okay, now I know every step,
Mhm.
right? Because like
Right.
what you heard in the lecture at school or what you saw wherever, it got you to be able to do it okay.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
But then when you have to teach someone, you're like, oh, I better find out what that button does and what
And what
that
this
button
one-
does,
Yeah.
you know,
Right.
right?
So true. So true. It's like, for example, someone will come over, then I will teach him about the podcast.
Yeah.
Today, like, let's say I fucked up a cable,
Yeah.
just as an example. They will be like, oh, but why do you put that cable right there? So
Yeah.
if someone step on,
Yeah.
so is that okay? Well, no, you're not supposed to do that. The right way is,
Still
okay, buy this cable.
right.
put
Get
it
a
all-
longer cable.
Yeah, exactly. You know, so,
Right.
but the next time, you don't want to be like a fucking goof. So
Yeah.
I'm going to do it next
Right.
time
For sure.
because, hey, I teach you something. Of course,
Right.
I'm going to do it.
And you learned something that he was saying. Hey, that wire. So now, are we always learning? Yes, we are.
Can we do better each day?
Yes, we can.
Yeah.
Every single minute, second, we are learning. Every second, we're learning
Yeah.
something.
So like I just want to say is like, you know, it's like adversity is a good thing, man. You know, when you come up against a wall, you know, go through it.
yeah.
Go through
Don't
it,
be
man.
afraid, man.
You know?
Mhm.
Yeah.
And so that's like the fear barrier, right? Is
Mhm.
like so it also kind of corresponds with success as well, right? Is like, so some people are actually afraid of success.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? It's like,
Mhm.
so but there's like this fear barrier where, you know, you'll get to this adversity, which is the barrier, right? And you kind of hit it and you go, okay, I'm
good.
gonna turn around.
I'm good.
But really, like, it's just like a piece of paper and you can just punch right through it. And then when you get through the other side, you go, that wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All I had to do was fill out this form
Yeah.
and we're good now.
Mm-hmm.
We got our license.
Yep.
It's like, yeah, dude, that's all you had to do.
Yeah.
But people get in their mind like, it's so big and unbearable and I could never do it and I'm going to have to spend all this money. And it's like, did you read it 1st?
Mhm. That's right.
Oh, you didn't even read it.
Right.
You just heard IRS or whatever. And you're like, ah, the IRS.
Did you read the IRS is saying, hey, we owe you money?
Right.
But all you saw was the IRS. Oh,
Yeah.
you see,
Yeah.
so again, read into it. Read, go into it. Don't be afraid. Run to it,
Mhm.
right? Not away from it, right?
Mhm.
Run to that burden building. Go save that child. And,
Yeah. So
And
hey, listen, you know, so like instead of binge watching, you know, 10 episodes of Netflix, maybe watch just 1 or 2 and
And
then
then-
read something
Mhm.
and
in between.
do whatever you got to do to advance yourself, you
Mhm.
know?
Mhm.
Yeah.
I agree. So that's where you're structuring your time. You know, I take an hour to read this book. Okay, I'm giving myself an hour. I'm gonna read as much as I can. Okay, you put it down. Now you go do something else. So your mind is always refreshed. It's not being stalemate by the same mundane thing you're doing over and over. By giving yourself that break helps you to elevate higher, right?
Yeah.
But when you don't do that, then you're just stuck in that rut and you're just doing the same old thing every single day. So yeah, just try it. Just break it up.
Expecting different results.
Exactly a different result. But it's not going to happen if you don't change. Hey, maybe if I look at this angle here. Oh, it looks different. Exactly. All you have to do, move your hand to that angle. Oh, now I see what it is that it is. But again, this is stuff that you have to learn these things. It have to be that people are willing to want to open up their mind and they want to learn,
Mhm.
right? And they want to be uncomfortable, right? So as long as people want to do that, it's easy to teach people. I love somebody who comes and they're asking questions and they want to know. That's when I get to teach them.
Mhm.
I get to take what others have given to me and I pass it on to that person. And I watch the people. If they're not showing me that they want to learn
Mhm.
and they're not giving me anything, then why would I want to waste my energy?
Mhm.
I'm not going to waste my energy and time trying to teach you because I know you don't want to learn. You're okay where you're at. That's fine. But
Mhm.
there's ones who are eager. I said, and they ask questions. Good for you. I'm glad you're asking questions and not sitting there thinking that you know everything. Or you have the ones who come in thinking that they know everything. No, you don't. This is a different animal. You might be working over here and it's different. When you come here, it's a different animal. And when you go here, it's a different animal. So you have to learn each one, right? Don't come and go, oh yeah, I already know that. No, you don't.
Yeah.
No, you don't. You don't know this one. this one is a different animal. So empty your mind and your brain, and we're going to strip you down. And now we're going to teach you to build it for this particular job.
Mhm.
And that job is a different job. We'll strip you again. We'll teach you again. I remember this young man. I was at the gym. He's a young kid, you know, high school. I'm working out, and he's looking at me. He comes to me and he asks me, how do I get, to look that way and stuff. I said, okay, good. So I looked at what he was pushing. He had a 45 plate on.
Like bench press?
Yeah, bench press. I said, okay. I said, take off the 45 and put on the 25. He's like,
What?
now he's worried about how he looks and how people are looking
What
at him.
people think of
about
him.
him.
Mhm.
I said, that's the first thing I'm going to strip from you, is you worrying about what everybody else thinks about you. I said, I didn't stutter when I told you to take off the 45 and put the 25 on, did I? I said, I'm not the one that needs your help. You're the one that's coming to me, and
Yeah.
I'm trying to tell you, how do you get to look the way how I'm looking to how you're looking at me?
Mhm.
But here it is now, you're worried about what people are thinking about you. I said, take it off, because I didn't stutter when I said that. You're wasting my time, and I value my time.
Mhm.
Okay? So he took it off. I said, good. Now that you learn how to listen,
Let's get your form right.
get your form right. Okay, now that you've done that, okay, my friend, I need you to give me 15. Yeah, he gave me the 15. What's your form? Yeah, baby. I said, good. Now take off the 25 and put the 35 on. And he put the 35 on. All right, give it me. All right, I need for you to give me 10 now. He gave me 10. I said, good. Take off the 35, give me the 45, and I need to give me 5. And he did it. And he goes like, oh, wow. I said, see, you thought the small weights were not your friends, but actually your best friends.
Mm.
The smaller weight is your best friend
Mm.
because it helps you to keep your form properly.
Yep.
So as you add the weights, your body can take it. If your foundation is weak, I don't care. You want to put 245 plate on, you ain't lifting that.
Mhm.
Because the underneath muscle that you needed to develop, they're not strong enough. So you have to break it down. I said, don't waste my time. I'm disciplined when I come in here. I'm not worried about what people are thinking. I'm worried about doing what I need to do.
But I mean, good for him for going to the pro.
Yeah, he came. Yeah.
Right, you know what I
Yeah.
mean, like, because like
Yeah.
that's what we've been talking about here
Yeah.
is like modeling after
After-
someone that's already doing
Yeah.
something that you want to do
Yeah.
or who you want to be, and so that was good for
That
like
was-
a young kid to kind of
Absolutely.
just go, okay,
Yeah.
maybe he didn't know, he probably didn't ask the right question, he didn't know how to say it, but he did it.
He came after I stripped him and rebuilt him.
Right.
Then he was like, wow, he liked the result. I said, good. I said, there's always a reason for why you do certain things. And if you skip those things and you want to skip past the pages, you're going to miss those important parts. You got to read the book from start to finish.
Yeah.
Don't skip a chapter, read it. Because if you skip over it because you think you know, I said, trust me, you're going to hurt yourself. So to me, it was great to teach this young man.
Yeah.
It was nice of him to come and ask me and to see me because he wanted to know. He's looking at me and want to know because when I get in there, I'm an animal. I get in there and bang, 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 and I get the one, boom, boom. So they think I'm crazy. I said, no, I had to develop this. I said, but you're going to take your time. And once you start getting everything together, then you can add, and then you can go crazy, jumping on the bar, doing backflips and jumping on the pool, whatever. But it takes time. But you first have to open your ears
Right.
and listen. Because now you're coming and wasting my time. I value my time. And now you're not even listening to me when I told you how it is for you to get that success. You chose that you thought you knew. The only thing you knew was nothing. And what he showed me is that you're just one of those type of dudes that just worried about what people think. I don't care what anybody thinks in here. I'm here to do a job. And you're stopping me from me doing my job. But after that, he never really came with that attitude again. And he came back again a second time and asked me again. And I showed him again. I said, these are your friends.
Well, and I think like that really ties into like just doing anything
Yeah.
that's out of the norm, right?
Of
It's
course.
like so everybody wants you to kind of fit in and be a sheep,
Yeah.
you know, and so how can you shift over to be a wolf if everyone's telling you to be a sheep, right? And so you're like worried about stepping out of line and looking different,
Yeah.
right? And so that's what holds a lot of people back is that like it's what other people think,
Okay.
and we just flushed that idea
Mhm.
out. Is that like you're worried about what they think about you, but at
Yeah.
the same time they don't really give a
Care
shit
about-
about you,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So then you just do one of these, you know.
Yeah.
I ain't listening to anybody,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna do what I know is right.
Yeah.
And maybe people won't agree with you because they don't see what your vision is.
That's
And
right.
No one
Mhm.
will see your vision.
But you see it, and the ones who can see your vision will understand
Mhm.
your vision, and those are the people you move with. And eventually people will start seeing your vision. They start understanding what you're
Mhm.
up against.
Well,
you can't-
but even, you know, like say guys like you mentioned Elon earlier, you know, it's like there's a lot of people that are just like, that guy's just a nut bar.
Mhm.
You
I
know,
love
and
him.
They don't see his
Love him.
they don't see his vision.
Mhm.
You know, like, so that's all I'm saying is that, like, don't worry about it.
Mhm.
Don't worry. Like, there'll probably be more people. No, sorry. I guarantee there'll be more people out there that don't see your vision
Yeah.
than people that see your vision, right?
Mhm.
And so
Yeah.
that's just the reality of, like, when
Mhm.
you're trying to do something big and
Mhm.
different.
Mhm.
I'll tell you right now, it's not easy,
Mhm.
No.
okay? And people are not going to be supportive of you until you make it.
You make, yeah.
And then all of a sudden they're like, "Oh yeah, that's
I knew you
cool."
were gonna do it. Oh, I knew
And you
you.
and,
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
and you just kind of just have to, don't hold any grudges.
Grudges,
Just
no.
be like, "Thank you."
Yeah.
Mhm.
Again, they're my firewood.
Yes.
Yeah.
Those people.
Yeah.
They motivate me. They
Mhm.
encourage me when they didn't believe in me. So again, it depends on how you look at it. You can look at them. Oh man, that guy told me that. See, I didn't look at that when the guy told me that. I took what he said and make it enter my body for a minute so I can feel it.
Mhm.
And it was
Then
painful. Yeah.
Yeah, I felt that. Oh, he said that. Then I took it out and then I turned it into something else. But I
Yeah.
needed it in to put it in to wake me up. Oh, okay. Is that what he's saying? Okay, good. Now I'm gonna take that, use it.
But you know what he didn't do is he didn't try and fire that arrow back at the guy.
No.
He just took it out and
Yeah.
said,
Yeah.
"Okay,
Yeah.
I felt it,
Yeah,
and I'm not gonna fire it back at that
Right.
guy because
Right.
that guy has his own problem."
that's right.
Right. Yeah, you can take this and say like, "Oh, I'm gonna make a vengeance," or
No.
"I'm gonna do a revenge."
Exactly.
Yeah.
But he wasn't there to.
You actually thanked him.
Yeah. What? You thanking him? Yeah, I'm thanking him because I'm glad that he was in that place at that moment, at that time, to say what he was supposed to say to me. See?
Mhm.
People are brought into your pathway for a reason.
What?
Brought into your pathway for a reason. They're going to say things to you because that's what they're supposed
Or
to
they'll do things to you.
That's what they're supposed to do
Yeah.
to get you to keep on the path you need to go to believe or whatever. But if
Ooh.
you're looking at it that way,
Believe,
then
yeah.
it's going to take you out. Like Brad said, I didn't fire the arrow back to him. I took it out and just, thank you.
Yeah.
I like that shot. Thank you. I'm
Yeah.
going to take this.
Send another one.
I'm sending another one. I'm ready for another one. Then I just keep collecting them. And now I got all these arrows with wood on it that I can make a fire.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
There you go.
But it all depends on how you look at it.
Yep.
You may think, oh my gosh, I can't believe they said that. That's okay. They were there sent to say that to me.
Mhm.
Yeah. So yeah, and like that's perspective.
Yes.
Perspective is
Yes.
is like you can really, and this is where you get to mastery of your mind, right? Is like, so it's just like when you hear someone say something or someone does something, you can take it any way that you want.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it's on you to like really contemplate and think about it and go, was this a lesson?
Mhm.
You know, or should I try and get upset and then ruin my whole day being upset against this other person
Mhm.
and try and do something and lower yourself to their level
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
and do something stupid back,
That's right.
or you just go, hey, you know, I ain't interested in this.
I'm not
Yeah,
gonna play
yeah.
that
You know.
game.
So
See?
true.
See?
So true.
So you can either lower yourself,
Mhm.
you might be right, but you're gonna be wrong.
Because it's just the ego talking.
Right.
Oh,
Woo!
snap, Noah,
Snap.
dude,
See?
there you go, man.
See?
Just the ego talking.
Mr. Ego?
When I give back,
Mm-hmm.
I barely do it.
Yeah.
When I do it, 100% is the ego, and the feeling
Yeah.
after is just not good.
That's right.
I just
Totally.
don't like it.
You're
I
like,
don't.
ooh.
I don't like to hurt people.
Why
You know
not?
what I mean?
Of course.
I'm just
no.
like, it's not.
but again, it's all about what we talk about in the last chapter. We'll get to that later.
Mhm.
But it's about, you know, taking the time to breathe and instead of reacting, right? That's what this person has been sent here to do to you,
Yes.
is to test you,
Yes.
to see if you're able to, right?
Yes.
It's all a test, man. And most people fail that test like 100 times over, man.
Oh, and
So, someone will call you a bad name or whatever, and then bam, you hit them or whatever, you know. And it's just like, okay,
Yeah.
how many
Yeah.
people right now are in jail right now that wish that they had that 5 seconds to make a different
just to
decision?
breathe. If they would have taken 5
But
seconds,
5 seconds, but you see, most of us don't because the ego comes into
Mhm.
play, and
Mhm.
the ego wants to be felt and heard. And
the
be
ego
seen.
wants to be right.
The ego
Right.
wants to be right. So you got to dummy that guy down and tell him to sit down. And you push him down the front and go, get out of here. Get to the back, buddy. Go sit
Mhm.
down.
Mhm.
Okay? Because the ego's norm is destruction.
Mhm.
Because you can't take that back
Mhm.
when you go hurt somebody now. Because, man, you're sitting in jail going, man, I wish I had that 5 minutes to just
Mhm.
change my mind. I wouldn't have to sit in here and
Yeah.
have to go through all this stuff. Only if you'd give anything to get that 5 minutes back to
Yeah.
change it.
We'll do it for sure. For
So
sure.
we have to watch that and watch ourselves. And every time we get that way, we just say, you know what? Okay, that wasn't right.
And again, this directly relates into the nonprofit that I'm telling you about. Is like it's the transformation of your ego, or the suppression of your ego, right? Is like, think about, like, so compare your ego
Yeah.
to
Mm.
business, right? It's like, so your ego wants everything. Your ego wants to be right, and your ego wants success, and your business wants money and all this
Mhm.
sort of stuff.
Mhm.
But the thing is like, the whole goal of life is the transformation of your ego,
Mhm.
okay?
Mhm.
Or the suppression of your ego. That's a different philosophy. And so that's what I'm saying is like, so maybe at the start of your life, you're a profit corporation.
Mhm.
By the end of your life, you're a nonprofit,
Profit.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's gonna change.
Mhm.
right? Because you're initially doing it for you only, and then by the end of it, you're doing it for others,
Yeah.
Right.
and not you. And that's just the lifetime, you know. And like, some of us can hit it earlier and recognize the
Mhm.
point
Yeah.
that it's not for us,
Yeah.
it's for others, you
Mhm.
know.
Mhm.
You're gonna achieve what you need to achieve, but the thing is that
You
How-
gotta-
how
you guys
much-
wanna wrap it up?
yeah.
I mean, like,
Yeah, I think you probably gotta go.
Yeah,
Right.
I have to go because you got to go.
I mean, like 2:15. So we
Yeah.
can make it like, let's say, an hour and a half podcast.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah,
Yeah, bro,
yeah.
it's 8 o'clock, man.
Yeah, and
Like,
you have
Okay.
to. I have to go home and eat, and you have to go home and spend some time with the wife. He's got to go spend time with the wife and kids. I got to go too and do that.
this was really good though.
Man, like I feel like we need like another hour, but
Yeah, we could go.
Well, and